face. It's gonna be a lot of fun. You can send us your questions. We'll answer them online as we're going. Online. That's right. This is gonna be all online. We're gonna be using Wi-Fi routers.
We'll stop sharing your.
Stop doing what?
I was gonna say stop sharing your deal, your screen.
Oh, you want me to?
Yeah. Because you messed everything up. I'm kidding. No, you're good. Just stop sharing. All I gotta do is stop sharing. You just gotta click the button.
It's asking me how did the stream go.
Okay, just say it went terrible.
Show me this again. I don't even know how to get out of it. It's like giving me all these other options. Is it still streaming?
Yeah, it's still there.
Okay, stop streaming.
There you go. What a man. Why is the stream in there now?
I'm gonna do that again. What's up, babe?
Oh, Jesus.
Pack down there? Crazy? Cool, you're cute. Cool.
Just hide it. Jake.
Good evening, folks. We're a couple minutes away from dropping the link to the stream. I'm going to post it right after I'm done doing this little video message. We're going to be streaming it on YouTube. And me and Jake and Jordan, we're going to be on there right now. So feel free to watch, but it's going to be really boring. We may just be arguing, but feel free to join us at that point in time. But the debate does not start until 8 o'clock. I'm going to share the link and you can hop on anyway. We're going to be on there arguing. We won't be answering any questions at this time. Please wait till the debate is started. We love you. Come be a part of the conversation.
If somebody asks a question, we're going to answer a question, Will.
No, I'm just joking. I'm going to put, we are asking, we are. Okay, I know when I redo it, because people are going to be like, are y'all not answering? People are so fucking literal. That was a good one too. Good evening, folks. We are T-minus. We're a little less than 1 hour away from streaming these debates all over the interweb. Streaming it from our different homes, different abodes. We've got Jordan here, beautiful Jordan. Look at his combed his hair. And then we've got Jake, who's up in Chicago. You can see him laughing. You can't hear him laughing. You can see him laughing. And we got the debate set up. You can kind of see it faded out here in the corner, but we're gonna get things rolling. I'm gonna videotape myself on the computer, looking at the computer, but recording myself. I'm gonna drop the link right. This is too long, Will. Too long. You're an idiot. Sorry, guys. This is probably really annoying, but I appreciate it. I started that one. I just immediately took my thumb off, and it was really bad. All right, good evening, folks. We are less than 1 hour away from streaming the debates. I'm going to post the link right after this little update. We're going to be talking, arguing, probably doing some drinking games responsibly. We're not driving. We're all safe at home, quarantining. But get on there. Ask us some questions. It's going to be a YouTube link, so you can get on the YouTube. You can use any computer to get on YouTube or phone. With the link, if you follow the link, you can get on there. You can ask us questions, be a part of the conversation. We love you. You can kind of see our setup here. This is what how I'm gonna be seeing it. There's gonna be the debate, the little preview for what it's gonna look like. Oh, more limit. Oh my gosh, that is so annoying. I have a phone limit on my phone, so I don't watch too much social media, and it keeps popping up when I'm doing these videos. And it just popped up in the middle of that video. It's pretty annoying. Hold on. Y'all are fine. I'm not gonna do another one. Be seeing it. I'm just gonna add debate, the little preview for what it's gonna look like. Oh, more limit. Oh my gosh, that is so annoying. I have a phone limit on my phone, so alrighty. I don't watch too much social media.
Wait, hold on, Will.
And it keeps popping up. What's up, Jake? Videos. It just popped up in the middle of that video. It's pretty annoying. Hold on.
Hello?
Y'all are fine. I'm not gonna do another one. Should I talk? I'm just gonna add debate. Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Nothing?
Not you.
Cool. Alright.
What are you?
What's up, Jake?
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. I could always hear you. I'm not talking to you. I'm testing out the stream, my guy.
Oh, okay.
Hello?
Hello?
Not you.
What do you, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I could always hear you. I'm not talking to you.
Yeah, like you can hear like my computer, like the fan.
Say again. You hear your computer doing what?
Oh, like I pulled up the stream. I can hear like my fan. I'm just talking, generally. Like,
I'm not sure I talked to you a minute
I
ago.
could always hear you. I'm not talking to you.
what? What?
Is that you?
It's what me?
Nothing.
Da 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 da. Okay. Probably gonna do the C-SPAN one so they don't pull us off the internet, you know?
You're clipping a little bit at the end, Jake. Like it's like cutting off, like choppy. It's not bad, but like just But that's a good idea. C-SPAN's the way to go.
It'll be better now. It will be.
It will be. It sounds fine. I mean, it sounds fine right there.
I know. That's
Just,
what I
you know,
said.
it
It's gonna be
cuts
better
off-
now.
Well, you know when it cuts it off at the end, whatever.
Whatever, Will.
I'm not a bad guy. Streamlabs. Yo, is that the link?
Yeah, I posted it on Twitter. Or that's like the here. I'll give you the YouTube link here.
Yeah, give me the Streamlabs. Stream me, daddy.
I hate that.
We're
But-
streaming all over the internet.
But like all of this will be on the YouTube, like forever. So
Okay.
like this right now.
This, what's happening right now?
Yeah. Dude, I
know, I understood this.
I honestly like it. As long as Joe Biden stands on the stage and completes several sentences, we're gonna be good.
That was the boost in the numbers. Let's see here. You just posted you dropped it in the thing.
Hey, on Twitter, I also tweeted it, but yeah.
No, that's perfect. You Gucci, Gucci, Gucci. What's going on today? I sold some things on the to the world. Oh, it's live. We're live, baby. Found some.
I know.
I don't like selling things. Like I like meeting people. All
Yeah,
day.
Hannah, this is live.
Hannah.
She's in the old chatterino.
Hannah's in the chat. Hannah's in the chat. Hannah, yeah, this is live, Hannah.
I'll be right back.
Live from Saturday night. Jake's gonna be right back. Hannah, we're live. We're gearing up for the debate that's going on here in an hour. Welcome home. Glad you're here. We're gonna be really friendly to all of our guests.
Will's
That's
like,
one of our rules.
someone joined the chat. I was like,
Be
hey Anna, and he's
real-
like, wait, who's Hannah?
Let's see. I'm gonna drop the link in my. I gotta drop the link in my Instagram.
Place. Full of
Let's see.
things.
Reply to your story. Hot. My wife thinks I'm hot, so that's, I don't know, something, right?
She's just legally required to say that.
She is legally required to say that. You're right. My wife is legally required to say that I am attractive. Here, or in bio, people can't just click on that. In bio. I'm posting this link in bio. It's funny how boring. I wonder how many like, you know, like they say like social media gives you a lot of serotonin, like a lot of like endorphin releases, right? But you know, it's surprisingly how little watching someone use social media releases endorphins for you. It almost does the opposite. It probably like pulls in endorphins. Oh man. Let's see here. Link. Can I post? I'm posting the link in my Instagram bio.
Sure.
But how can I tell people? How else can I tell people to get there?
That's really the only way. Just,
That's the best way. Well, could they search it on YouTube?
I mean, they could search it. There's also a YouTube link that I sent you.
Right, but for Instagram's sake, for mass, you know, sending it to the masses.
Yeah, I mean, you can search it on YouTube, but like,
Yeah.
just do the link.
I did the link. I did that. But like, let's say people are lazy. You want
that's more work.
That's that instant
telling
click.
them to go Google it is more work than just posting the link.
Right. Well, on Instagram, you can't click the link when I post it, though. It's
Well,
not set up like that.
It's
not set up like that. Let's see here. I sent it to 2 people that specifically asked for it. Alright, the link is live. We are streaming and talking. Send us your questions. We'll start a conversation. Call me if you have my phone number. We'll talk. And I'll talk to you live on the air. But the link's in the bio.
Why do you sound like that?
Or just Google on YouTube.
Google on YouTube? What even is a comportor?
I'm funny, dude. People get it, dude. People get it, dude. Get a lot of likes in this mustache. Man, this is my best mustache in town. I just have blonde mustache. I think. It's like real. It's like a real hair. I gotta get a phone charger. I'm addicted to streaming. I think I'm addicted.
Oh, the debate isn't live yet. The debate doesn't start for a little bit. I'm not talking to you ever. The debate hasn't started yet. It starts in about 40 minutes, I believe. So that's just the C-SPAN like logo until it starts. No, don't whistle. That's really loud. Hi, Jordan.
Hi.
Let's see here. I'm gonna watch it. I want to see it on YouTube, so I can see the comments. How could I be access to that? How could I be access to that? Jordan Jones on TikTok. Jordan, you're on TikTok?
Yeah, I made a video.
Wait, you made a video for TikTok? What?
TikTok. Is it? Am my screen being shared? No, it's not.
No, and don't do it.
Original. Cancel. I'm not going to. I'm gonna watch this. Or should I watch it? Jordan's
Relevant.
Okay, I thought maybe it was relevant. There's no, you never know. Okay, let's see here. I'm just gonna have it open on my. Are you just going to leave this picture on? That was the question.
I already answered it.
Oh, did you? I didn't see your answer.
You keep. No, I didn't type it. I talked it with my mouth.
What was the answer? I didn't hear it.
Well, the answer is that it's like the picture, the presidential debate. That's just like the placeholder for C-SPAN until it starts.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you said it again. Maybe for some folks at home didn't hear it.
There's 2 folks, and one of them masked.
One of those. Where's Joe Jorgensen? Brandon Padilla. This is one of my good buddies, one of the best electric guitar musicians in all of San Antonio. And he's got a killer record he just put out.
Joe Jorgensen's joining later.
Yeah, Joe Jorgensen, she's our special call-in guest to watch the debate with us. That would be so cool. Maybe someday when we're big and grown.
No.
No, you don't think so? I wonder what drinking game are we gonna do? What are some of the drinking games?
What do you mean? Jordan made one.
Oh yeah, that's right. We have one special. Well, I'm gonna post it on my Instagram.
You should do
Social
it.
media is so fun. Connecting is great.
I'm just gonna drink until I don't.
So
I'm gonna drink until I just can't comprehend what's happening on the screen.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Dude, I don't even know. I was thinking about it. Like, what I really wanted Biden to do was, so Trump's big thing with his tax returns is that, like, no, I think the third-party candidate should be there, and the rules for getting on the stage is absolutely stupid. But, like, what I wanted Biden to do was, like, okay, what if? I'm pretty sure you can, like, request an audit on yourself from the IRS. He should just, like, request an audit, be under audit, and then release his tax returns, and then go, I am also under audit, Mr. Trump, and here are my tax returns. Just to dig at him, because that's something that you don't like have to not release your tax returns. Like that's not like a rule for being under audit. I thought that'd be a cool slam-a-lama ding-dong to do to him.
Biden posted all of his tax returns.
He posted his tax returns just like every other presidential candidate ever, but it would be a dig at Trump, because the reason he says that he won't release his tax returns is because he's under audit. That's the only reason. He's like, I will release them. I want to. I would. My lawyer. They tell me.
You kidding me? I would love it.
Neither one of us sounded like Trump, and we both sounded like
because you talked
Eastern
over me.
European.
I became sort of like.
You sound like what?
Sort of Hispanic.
Leah said we sounded like Muscle Man.
Well, your impression was kind of bleeding into mine, so I was like hearing yours and like.
I know, I was too.
Oh, this is bad. Well, no, you started yours.
Okay, it was all your fault. In reality.
That'd be funny if that's how we argued.
I did nothing.
Like children, like real, like little kid brothers.
That's what we do. I don't understand.
Not quite. We're sophisticated, big brain, political pundits. We really chew on the ice cubes of our time.
Dude, I'm dumb as hell. I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, I said chew on the ice cubes of our time. I don't think that my point was that we're actually smart or anything. No debate is legitimate without the third party.
Well, it's only we already talked about that. You're like 10 minutes behind, Will.
Well, I got off YouTube for a second. I'm just rereading.
Yeah, so you don't have to read out loud.
I'm not very smart.
Yeah, like, well, it's the only reason why it really has only really mattered this time is because we had never had a president with active like businesses at the time they're in office, and then on top of that, he has a lot of like debt that is coming due apparently, like in the next year. We all knew he was like in debt, but we didn't know like how much and like when it was due, and it turns out it's like $500 million due in like a year. Like it's it's
I know
crazy.
Like I say most companies, a lot of companies, most of their monthly finances or yearly finances are dedicated to debt service.
I was listening to somebody talk about it, like, because if you go to like the New York Times thing and you scroll through it, there's like a graph that pops up as you scroll, and there's a line that shows his like profits or like money he made coming in and his debt line, and it's just like it's like 1-to-1. But yeah, no, it's like he is like the perfect like encapsulation of like what America is right now. Like every company's like that. Like that's why they all like immediately, as soon as lockdown happens, they make like $20 billion last year, and they immediately need a bailout because like all of their operating costs and profit and debt and everything is like 1-to-1 with how much money they make. It's like none of them make a profit. Like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. Like none of them do.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's just hard.
Well, Google does.
There's so much cost. Is Google running a profit?
Well, no, it's not that there's so much cost. It's like the airlines. They do all of their money that they do have. Well, it goes straight back into like expansion or this or that. Like they don't actually save any money. They don't have like liquid assets. Yeah. Like
the models are all built on growth, right? The models are all built on growth, and it's like
it's just like the stock market's the only measure of like how good your company's doing, because stock line go up. Well, that's like it.
It's like ice. It's like, well, there's like this principle, like the bottom line, that idea, that concept, you know. And I think, like, I worked at a church, for instance, and they made a decision at some point they cut my budget in half because I was being fiscally responsible and didn't need to spend all of our money for the year, and so I didn't spend all of it. But it was some more gray to that. They didn't let me know the budget. They would always tell me, be careful, Will, you don't have that much money to spend, and would never let me do very much stuff. But turns out I was actually really good at spending money and really good with handling money, as it were to turn out. But anyways, because they were weird about it, it kind of nipped me in the bud. But all that to say, they there's this concept that if you don't spend all your money in your fiscal year, that they'll deduct it from the next budget.
Yeah,
which is a weird concept.
Well, yeah, no, it's a surplus, and they use
that
that to like.
I mean, it's not a weird concept. I understand it. It's not like alien to me. Like, oh, what the fuck? Like I know what's going on there. What they're, it's like, well, obviously.
Well, yeah, no, everything's just like you have to know exactly how, because our economy is entirely hyper, like, or the world economy, because America, led the way or whatever, is entirely like, it's not sustainability, it's not like happiness, or it's not like any like thing other than just money. No, it's the over commodification of literally everything in our lives, to the point where everything's a commodity, and when everything's a commodity, everything's being bought and sold, and so everything is subject to like the same fluctuations, and it's dumb.
In a free market, any free market, good ones, bad ones, or whatever, and then just like with the concept of the free market, or once you open that gate up, it's like when water fills a container, let's say the container was more complicated.
When Biden starts a story.
No, not
you just
when Biden
don't know where it's going.
Well, no, but like there are these inevitable places that, like, so let's say we put water in like lungs. It'd be an intricate tunnel system, lots of avenues, lots of things to commodify, and sort of like as things can be commodified, they will be. So it's sort of like a...
Well, no, it's just inherently everything's a commodity. It's not like they can be, they might be. Everything is. It's not like a couple of things. It's literally everything. It's not like a slow branching process.
But I don't think capitalism is over-commodifying. It's like a...
No, what do you mean? Like, if it was like, for example, like Soviet Russia, terrible place. But everybody had a house because it wasn't commodified. Boom, roasted. Like, at the base level. Okay. Like, I'm not saying that's what I want. I'm not saying it's what we should do. But that's what it was. Like, it's not like it has to be that way.
Yeah, how many people were in prison camps and like stuff like that?
I'm just saying that, like, at a base level.
I wonder if it's equal to.
No, I'm not talking about. No, Soviet Russia was terrible. I'm not saying it's good.
People that don't have homes.
Jeez, I know, I'm just saying. Like, no, I'm just saying that, like, it's only that way because we made it that way. Like. Yeah, I know, but it's only that way because we said, oh, okay, having a home is a commodity. You have to work so that you can afford to live somewhere.
Is that what we said, though? That sounds a little... It's an interesting way to put it.
It's baked into it.
We said that homes are a commodity.
You're being overly, like...
No, Huh?
You're just being overly nitpicky. Like, no one said flat out, like, no, but like, like private property and all that.
That
like,
statement, though.
No, it's like what America is. Like, you got a piece of land, you built a house on it. Like, that was your piece of land, you owned it, and all the profits that came from it, this and that, and then, like, things that were applicable like 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 300 years ago aren't as applicable today.
I think we should decommodify land, but I'm okay with houses still costing money. I think we should decommodify land.
Well, decommodification doesn't necessarily mean that there's... No. So decommodification doesn't necessarily mean that it just doesn't cost money anymore. It's decommodified. So it's not subject to the same fluctuations, and no one's making a profit off of it. It can still cost money, but you do it at cost instead of...
I mean, no one's taking... I don't know. So, like...
Yes,
no one's taking advantage of it.
Well, no one's making money from it. Like, the cost is just the cost to facilitate the transfer of the deed or whatever. Like,
well, somebody's making money because you've got someone doing the labor.
No.
Earning that money.
No, not in this scenario. In this scenario, no one is making money.
You get people to...
I'm not saying this is feasible, or we can just tomorrow go out and make all houses. No, what do you like? I'm just talking hypothetically. Like,
well, I'm just
we
confused.
should start to decommodify things that people rely on. All right, bye, Hannah. Yeah, like the American dream. Like it's the American dream. Like it's built on picket fence, house, whatever. Like that is America. Like that's what they promise. That's the promise of America. Anybody can make it. You get a house, you get a dog, you get a wife, have 2 kids.
The promise is the pursuit. I mean, the promise is the pursuit.
Well, the promise is the end of it. It's not the pursuit. Like the promise is the pursuit of those. Well,
things.
That you have to constantly work to be able to have like a normal life. Like you have to constantly work, constantly produce, constantly go above. No, like
at some level though, Jake, you have to, we can't.
Yeah, but that's not
totally
what's
abolish
happening.
work.
No. And I'm not saying we should. What I'm saying is the American dream doesn't exist, and we should make the American dream exist by force, essentially. Like, we should say...
What is the American dream that should exist?
Home,
I'm not
house,
sure if I
pick it.
understand.
Okay. So
Those aren't the American
I'm
dream is
sa-
that you can pursue those.
Stop.
things.
No,
Whatever you want.
no, that's not the American dream. The American dream isn't, hey, you might get these things. The American dream is you come to America and you can get these things as long as you're, willing to work. You get these
We
things.
have different understandings. We have different
Very.
understandings of.
No, people didn't come to America to like maybe someday get a house. Like they came to America because no, I'm not talking like the last like 10 years. I'm talking about like in like the 1920s. They came because they had a friend that came or a relative, and they were told, the relative got a house, they're doing well now, or they've heard stories of people coming
People came to
over.
America's
prosperous. I know, but that's like the main reason. It was like the land of promise, right? It wasn't the land of maybe you'll work hard someday and then maybe get a thing. It was the land of promise, the opportunity.
No, that's not what that means. I just
What do you mean?
Yeah, we may come to a roadblock here, but the land of promise does not mean you're promised to have a bunch of things when you get over here.
It's the land of opportunity.
Yes, opportunity means you have to. If I give you a car, you got to get in the car and drive it. You can't.
Yeah, like Brandon said, pursuit as it relates to actually making the end goal. The promise, the pursuit.
Right. So
the promise was that the pursuit would end in this, and instead now the pursuit doesn't end in that for almost anybody. It's the outlier for the pursuit to end in that now.
That's what the conversation is what are the inhibitors and what
I mean,
well, no, but no.
We talk about the inhibitors all the time.
We can move
all
on.
of it.
But no, but the core statement there, the idea of this pursuit of, I think it's they're not guaranteed anything in freedom.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah, but those things everyone has. That's why people do come here, is because they can live freely from their state or their oppression.
Do you?
I mean, probably more so
Compared to
than a lot of the other world. Whereas the government has less purview or on paper, oversight of my life than, let's say, somewhere that is more socialist. Now, maybe that's a trade-off that we were willing to make.
Well, so do you consider?
No,
hold on.
No,
hard pause. Sure. So, do you consider? Let's say, do you consider? Wait, it's looking at me people ride a horse, but yeah. It does need a tweak now because it doesn't relate the same, and we have things that make the things that were so hard back then instantaneously available and easy now, but they're gated behind having a good credit score, having everything else. It's all gated behind.
If it's easier than, but you just said that the technology made things harder back then and makes it easier than ever now. Now we should make it not about a pursuit, but about a guarantee of certain things.
Technically easier. It's technically easier. It's easier to build a home
if
now.
If I wanted to travel from here to Chicago,
it's easier to build a home now than it used to be. It's easier to travel now than it used to be. It's not as easy to get a house now. If you were white in 1930, you got a house. You just got one. The government gave you one.
Yeah, you could build your own.
No, they just gave them. And then before that, they gave you land. They said, if you go here, we're gonna give you the land. You go build a house, and the house took you a year to build. Now, we build a house in a day. No, it's not. Are you kidding me? We produce more
U.S.
anything.
government was just giving houses away to white people. It's sort of true. It's true at the first settlers, and there were certain people that were given these sort of opportunities.
You're getting caught up on every little thing I say. What I'm saying is, William Chappell, what I'm saying is that,
we're just talking.
Well, I know, but, you're misunderstanding everything I'm saying. And
No, I'm not misunderstanding.
Yes, you are. So, back then, to build a home, even if you had a team of people and you were paying top dollar, it took more time than to build a home of comparable size, construction, whatever today. Way more time. Now it is super easy. Okay. We also have more materials. We have an overabundance of the materials to make a home. We have an overabundance of the people to build the home. We have an overabundance of literally everything. Problem is, it all costs a ton of money relative to the amount of money that is in our country now. Texas land was so cheap because they wanted people to live there like 5 cents an acre. Jeez, yeah, no, I don't doubt it.
Yeah, because it was super dangerous to live here because
just people.
At least.
Well, yeah, but like
that was
it was so cheap just because like there were a lot of places it was free, some places it was cheap. It just depended on the state because the states have more autonomy.
The way I understand the history is that Mexico invited people here because they're like, hey, yeah, come live here, and they were like trying to figure out how to like solve them. And the only reason
I'm just talking about land at the time in general.
Oh yeah, I wonder what time period he's referring to. I mean, maybe because
just back then, like they just regardless of like the Mexican presence, like in general, like everywhere. He was just saying like. He was saying as like an aside, like in Texas it was this much, but like out west, like if you were willing to go to California at the time, like way back when, like Manifest Destiny, you just got land. If you showed up at a town that was established, they go, all right, down there's your land, and you go get it.
Yeah, if you survive the journey,
and all your kids survive the journey, if you made it across, you got land. So like, but that's the thing though, right?
So that's
you used to like be rewarded.
Talk about cost.
Well, because that was you were contributing
but
something.
You actually might die when you travel across country.
Well, it's not even that though. It's not even that though. You were contributing something. If you were able to uproot your life and go there and contribute to Manifest Destiny to build the country coast to coast, if you yourself were willing to go do that and live in the middle of nowhere, small town, build the town, whatever, if you were willing to do that, you got it. And so now we don't have any of those same kind of like social constructs. Like I'm willing to work a job, move wherever. Most people are, right? Like let's just say you are. You're willing to move as long as, you get something out of it. But like now it's that same kind of like social contract with like the government or just anybody doesn't exist anymore. And it's not because we because like before, like living in an apartment then's a little different than living in like an apartment building now, even like a modest one, because like they were so shit. Like New York City in the like the 20s or whatever, like those apartments sucked, and if you lived in one, it like sucked hard unless you were super wealthy. But like now you can make a cheaper apartment that was miles and light years and scores ahead of like what it was. Oh, what up, Zach? But like it's like now it's so easy to do, and we could do it, and we have more money like in our country than ever. But like the problem is, so it's the same thing with all of it, like, right? Like if more people could go to college, they could contribute more to society. These people, like if more people were smart enough, they got all the knowledge that college affords.
We don't need people to go to college to do the labor jobs and stuff.
No, but what I'm saying is that there are a lot of people that could contribute more to society if that path was available to them. Like, and then after college, right, if more of your salary that you get at your first job could go towards the economy, like not your student loan, and you could buy more things in the economy, that would also contribute everyone, but instead you're paying off student loans that contributes very few. So all of these things that used to be geared towards everyone are now geared more and more towards just a point. It's going to several people. Like school used to be something you did because you got smarter, and when you got smarter you could invent things or be a better business leader or just whatever. It was something that was cheaper because it could be because they wanted people to get an education or whatever. Like all of these things used to be things that we valued as like public good because overall they contributed. The more people that go to college, the more people are educated, and the better people are informed when they vote. The better people are informed when they read the news. The better people are informed, like the better decisions they make in their life. The better they can handle their finances. It's everything's, right? And so whenever these things are gated off like they are, and the gates are, kind of closing, unless you want to like shackle yourselves to student loans for forever, which I've done, and I haven't even graduated AO, but it's like all of these things have just become harder and harder and harder. While people have got richer and richer and richer, there's more and more and more wealth, but more and more of us are like miserable. Gotten more difficult.
How much of these are aspects and virtues of a society that maybe truly has progressed, but as things get progressively easier,
it depends on
that
which
it
you
would be
mark
more competitive. So
progression.
You being willing to move your life to Chicago is easier than it ever has been, and so it's not as
but getting a job is harder
because it's not as difficult.
So I'm not saying that we should just value
not because there's not
moving.
more jobs. Well, no, it's not just because there's definitely jobs. Well, there's pre-COVID, post-COVID, but there's more jobs. I mean, before COVID, though, I mean, I could get a job in San Antonio tomorrow. You know, like,
I mean, you can't get a job tomorrow. Like, not a job that
jobs.
I can afford to pay back my student loans, my other student loans, my car, my rent.
So that's you know,
each
person has their own experience and individual things going on that may alter and change decisions they've made. But we don't have to make any of the decisions we do make. We don't have to make any decisions we have made. We've made some of the decisions and so yes, we've been.
But you don't have the decision not to take out a student loan to like go to school unless you're like super
you don't
wealthy.
Have to go to,
I know, but if you want to go to school,
why don't people pay for college? Why don't people go to college slower? Is there a reason why they don't?
Don't go to college slower.
Could you go to? Yeah, why do you have to go to college?
Because you want to get out of the way to get your job. I mean, it's all bullshit. Like the 4-year degree things, just so that they can get more money out of a short term. Like, yeah, absolutely,
right,
absolutely.
But
the problem is,
yes, the way we run the deficit in the country is the problem. The way we have this concept.
Well, the deficit's whatever. I mean.
Well, no, but the when you talk about credit score and things like that, I think for me,
well, yeah, like the credit score, like the check is the is the part, right? Like they check and see.
But that's not.
And then the check.
Well, it's not inherently unreasonable to make sure in a system where we have credit score, where we have credit cards.
No, listen.
To make sure this person's not going to default on their. We've created a system where that makes sense.
Because banks and loans and all that's for profit, Will. So all of that's for profits. We got to make sure we can make a profit off of you. It's not even just your like. So the reason why they want you to have like a credit history is because that means that you have things for like collateral that they can come and take if you default on your loan. Like it's all built off of making profit for a couple of people. It's not because it's like, oh, we just have to make sure. Like it's because and so like and then whenever you get
less profitable. Hold on, it's less profitable for them to have
like money doesn't exist anymore. Hey now,
no,
you're an all-star.
They want people to
debates about to start.
They want people to not foreclose. They want people to not. They want people to reoccurringly make more money and pay more money in the system.
They don't care if they foreclose; they get the money back. They don't give a shit.
Hold on. Well, no, but no, well, they do and they don't. So when people,
if they did, they wouldn't.
Hold on. When you say, hold
get your home from you.
When the collateral, we talk about the collateral they have over you. You can see that one of two ways. You can see that like, oh, they've set up this relationship where they can trick people into getting all of their things instead of just some of them. It's not trick,
it's force.
Or you can see that as a very natural occurring relationship in like all of time, that there's some sort of mutual weighing.
It's natural for people to want to take advantage of other people when they're in a position of power. I agree.
No. That wouldn't. If you were asking me something, if you're asking me for something, and I'm expecting you.
Is that Brad Parscale? No, surely not.
So. No, there's no way, dog. There's no way.
Are you watching the stream on your? It kind of looks like it from the back.
I'm just watching on the.
Well,
no, there's
pull
no
it up
way,
so you can hear it.
I can hear it too.
No, well, if you pull it up on YouTube, my guy.
Oh, but I don't want to like. I guess if it's in my headphones, right?
Yeah, you can turn it down.
Yeah, that's good.
Big thonking. Hey, Brandon, can you hear the audio from the debate? Just like the random shuffling.
He's at the laundromat alone. She says she's going to beat up some guys.
You want to bust over there? Low, but yes. Yeah, it's kind of quiet right now. When people start talking, let me know if it's like audible. What up, Jordash? What are you doing?
Oh, I can hear it.
What?
I said, what up, dog?
We got one thumb up, dude. We got one thumb up.
You got a thumb up?
What's the best way to watch it on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm on the PBS. I'm on the old.
Right. No, Vivian said she's okay.
Public.
Vivian's safe. My wife is safe. Let's see what's going on Instagram. Let's see here. Let's see if I got any messages. Good. Nothing. No one's trying to talk to me.
He wants to talk to you, dude. Yeah, but like it all comes back to like how much money he'll make off of it. Dude, that fucking MAGA mask, dude. Hell yeah.
I just think some of it. I sometimes I hear in the language like these arbitrary.
It's not arbitrary
terms that sort of make. Well, so I guess what I'm saying is like there's things like and they do this just to have collateral on you, and I'm just like whoa.
Yeah, so that they get their money back because it's all.
Well, like that but the concept to say it like that.
Yeah, Brandon,
I don't know, to just have.
Go drive by. Brandon said he can drive by menacingly to help Viv.
Your voice cut out.
He said he could drive by menacingly to help Viv out.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Brandon. I got homies.
Why don't you just have the the chat pulled up?
The what?
The chat for YouTube. The YouTube chat.
Oh, I see it now. I was on the other one, but now I'm back. I like to be able to see myself in real time though.
I know, but you can like make it small.
Discord. I guess I can see it here. I can see it, but it's just literally my face. Let's see here. Here we go. Perfect. I can drive by menacingly. Yes, thank you for that. Let's see here. What are we talking about? Yeah, no, I just, for me, a lot of it's language stuff. A lot of it's, the way we think through these things. I think we assume so much about the system.
Well, because we know, like, it's not essential.
Well,
they do it because they can. Because they can make money off of it. Because it's a business and not a service. Like, yeah.
I think that they're more. I think that they're more incompetent than they are.
No.
So I think that they.
No, the banking system and like the big companies are very competent. They're very competent because they control everything. And like they're competent at some level. Like when bad things happen, there's more malice. I mean, there's. It's like when like something like really bad happens. Yeah, usually someone messed up and they weren't like trying to. But like the day-to-day like monotony of the bad things, like it's pretty like. They don't put like
but like there's not like one guy behind credit scores, There's not like one guy.
No, but it's an entire industry, and the industry is inherently bad. Like it's not that there's
a certain way that
the way it operates is bad.
People.
Yes,
I will say
that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to
I know.
You're doing a whole thing. Like we're agreeing.
It's not, again, it's a lot of this the way we think through these things. I don't know. I have a lot of hang-ups on my brain.
Because there's a lot of like evil people in the world, and these are a lot of evil people with a lot of money. They're not like nice people that just stumbled into it.
You familiar with the term Occam's razor?
Yes.
Occam's razor or whatever.
Simplest
like the idea, like the most boring, the simplest answer, and the most boring
simplest answer.
I sort of.
People are like.
Yeah, but so
people that have a lot of money don't get there by like being super chill and nice. Like.
That doesn't mean that's so. To me, that's not the simple. That's
Large
not necessarily
corporations aren't like
just because you can say it in one sentence does not mean it's the simplest answer.
Yeah, like Brandon said, credit score development was based on classism and racism. I mean, it didn't always exist, and then it did, and it only affected a certain group of people.
I'm sure it's based off of some.
Yeah, it's classism because if you're rich, there's no
tendency.
What? It's like the whole thing of like Trump's tax returns. Like
that's sort of
if you're rich, you don't have to pay tax returns. Done. Like if you're rich, you don't have to pay tax returns.
Well,
why is that?
Well, that's not entirely true because like Wesley Snipes,
it's
went to jail.
entirely true. Yeah, because he's a black rich man. Will like it's a racist.
Right, but there are other. I'm guaranteed we can find a white guy in jail for taxes right now, and so I just
yes, you can.
That's a bad example.
I guarantee you can find more black people. Would you like to know why? Because the majority.
Okay.
No, here we go.
Is that what we're talking about? No, that's not what we're talking about, though. That's not what we're talking about.
I know, but you made a comment about it not being racist.
Then we start making. Well, no, I'm saying that we could. No, I made a comment about we weren't talking about that. Like that was one thing. And can you hear this? I can hear this.
Well, so you need to open up.
My name is Janet
the
Brown.
debate
I'm
for your own.
Director of the Commission on Presidential Debates, and I'd like to welcome
Mr. Brandon, can you hear it?
Presidential debate of 2020. There are a lot of people.
Okay, well that's your problem. You need to go open up the stream.
To making this evening possible. And in a few moments, you will hear from two of our
Yeah,
co-chairs.
jeez. Jake, you really got me good there. I'm watching the delayed version or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's why I told you to open it up.
I wasn't saying Wesley Snipes did not get arrested for that. It's just a point of that rich people do go to jail for this. You're like, well, it's because he's black. I'm like, well, we're not talking about that.
I know, but it's...
I'll even concede you that. But the point is that
the vast majority of audits don't happen on rich people. They happen on very poor people in a couple of counties, actually, in Mississippi and Alabama.
Sure.
And guess what?
Oh,
They're predominantly
the most. Yeah.
Predominantly black. Yeah, predominantly black counties. It's crazy. They don't do it on rich people because it costs too much money, and they intentionally do not fund the IRS, but they don't, so they can't have the capacity to do that.
I'd like to introduce the
I'm sorry, I clicked on the stream for a second.
Frank Fahrenkopf and his colleague are also our co-chair, Ken Roll, to start this part of the
Yes,
program.
good enough. That's better. Dad just asked if we were going to watch the debates.
I just
Dad, we're
texted him that. Don't tell him we're streaming it. I don't want him to find it and come.
Well, no, he doesn't. Dad doesn't watch this. Dad can do it, whatever.
If you have not had the
I
opportunity
won't.
yet,
I won't tell Dad.
go around and see this
Dad,
fantastic
we're not doing this.
facility. You really should. It's just a great tribute to everyone who's been involved with it. And it's so important.
Here we go.
To say, as Janet mentioned, that this is the most challenging
Wait, hold on. On here what
in this
Mr.
32 years of existence of the
Fahrenkopf
coronavirus.
says.
So many people, as Janet said, in response, we normally don't come out. My co-chairman and I come out and thank people, but we wouldn't be here today if it had not been for them. As we serve as both the
Raise a
sponsor
glass
and
to
the
those two.
producers of the debates, we have
That we're gonna have this shit show of a debate.
65 people, most of which have been with us for years. Some of them go back to the first debates.
How many
in
times a
1988.
minute do you think Trump's gonna interrupt Biden
Thanks
and
so
Biden's just
much
gonna kind of stand there?
To United Airlines, who stepped up to the plate and graciously provided
It's gonna be a lot.
our whole crew from one site to another throughout the rest of the term of these debates. So we have a great shout out for United Airlines. Anheuser-Busch. has been with
United
us
Air.
for
Wait, are we
28
doing
years.
sponsors for
This has
this?
the firm of Crowell and Moore.
This is the most American thing ever.
Also, special thanks to some people in
Thank you to
the network
Anheuser-Busch.
business, in the journalism business, Pentagram, CBS News Radio, and Entercom Communications. In the hotel behind us, Intercontinental, is a tremendously large room. It's called the Media Filing Center. Only, I guess, there's about 700 people in there today. We usually have 3,000 to 5,000 people in the Media Filing Center. And so, with the cut down that we've had to, you can look around
Eat
this
the
audience, we normally
rich.
have 900 people in the audience.
That's crazy though. Like at the beginning of a presidential debate. Thank you, American Airlines and
National Press Club
Anheuser-Busch.
in Washington, D.C.
What?
is hosting the Media Filing Center for those journalists in Washington who couldn't be here tonight. So we're very, very thankful for that. Many of you, I see faces here I've known and been in the audience before. There will be, in the estimate of most experts, close to 120 million people watching this debate this evening.
Only 120 million?
It'll be on computers, it'll be on iPads, it'll be on their iPhones, they'll be listening on the radio. And those 120 million, or however it works out to be, deserve to be able to listen and observe on this stage tonight. These two men put forth the reasons why they should be elected president of the United States. And that's why it's been our history in the general election debates that we urge our audiences
I do like how they're treating it like every other debate.
to sit silently and not interfere with these people.
Like this isn't gonna be the biggest shit show that's ever happened on television.
Now, exactly at 9 o'clock, you're going to hear a lot of noise behind you. Turn around now, you can take a quick look. There's three
Oh, have
on
you been
this
talking?
side, three on this side. These are the
No,
major
my
nets.
video was off.
At 9 sharp, you're going to hear them all go on air. And so it makes a little noise. Don't be afraid by it. And I must
One of you
commend
turn down the
They ought to.
people that you saw
volume. I can hear it coming through.
you see around here. The United States Secret Service, the Federal Bureau of Investigation,
good now.
Department of Homeland Security,
It's good now.
Clemson University Media Forensic Hub that's working with us and monitoring the web and social media. So there's so many people to thank. And these men
That's just how it goes. Like, just don't look at it.
saw like Simon, local police department, who work so hard to keep us all safe, keep our nations safe. So thanks to them. I'd like to introduce the newest member of the leadership team, Ken Wallach, for 25 years, ran the National Democratic Institute for International Affairs, NDI.
You sure, Jake?
Really excited to have you
I'm
join.
wearing a shirt sponsored by Willie Chapel.
Join Frank and Janet,
I've seen your shirt.
fellow board members, including
I got it
Ron
from
Howe,
Lily, our little sister.
Who is that?
Welcome you to the
I don't know who it is.
23rd
James
presidential
Rabbit.
debate sponsored and organized
Awesome shirt, man. I
by
got
the
it from
Commission
Lily.
of Presidential Debates.
I
As Frank
finally got
said,
one
I
back
am the
from my little
Commission's
sister.
newest
I'll tell you
co-chair.
how they are.
and
Oh,
as the
I steal
new
stuff
kid
from
on the
her
block,
every time I go home. I like find one of my shirts in her closet.
you have been engaged in
This is my tall glass of tequila tonic.
These debates have now become an integral part
Ooh, hold
Our
the topo.
political process.
Whoa.
a view shared by the most important,
That's good tequila. Whoa,
the American.
yippity doo dah.
As significant as debates have become here, they can be even more consequential.
Debate starts in 13
overseas,
minutes.
Where the Commission, in
Okay, so
partnership
it's
with the
10 minutes,
National
folks. I'm
Democratic
gonna get on the
Institute,
I
has
said
organized
13.
400 debates in 45 nations.
Yes, as per the timer at the bottom of the thing, where it says 13 minutes and 8 seconds.
Oh, that timer?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, well, my stream is like 20 seconds behind.
So look up the one from C-SPAN, and you'll be right on.
Oh, right.
And this effort has spawned the establishment of a global support network of similar debate organizations from nearly 40 countries. Dubbed Debate
Ah,
Now I would call your attention to the debate watch
it's all the quarantine.
participation by watch groups in all 15 states. From a hair
Down.
salon
So you can,
What?
you can see everybody else's body, but you just see like your head.
to the global audience.
There you go.
The goal of the debate
You look so small.
but to share views with those who
You
agree
can say anything you want.
don't.
Small Jake.
Small. Wouldn't I be the ideal husband?
We are pleased that the Commission's longest-standing supporters
It's the Father John Misty song.
are in the audience.
I can't turn up the volume.
For 32
Well,
years,
I'm gonna like buy you a computer class.
Peter Plum Portler Foundation
Jake, I don't want to
has
compete.
given
You know what?
I don't care what you want. It's what you need.
partisan mission of the Commission. We are indeed grateful for their belief in our work.
Alright, folks, my wife just got home from doing laundry, so that means we're all tuning into the debate here pretty soon. We're gonna get it on
Mute
the
yourself,
television.
you degenerate.
Alright, well, it doesn't matter. People are on we're live. I'm not playing games.
On air? God, you're like an 80-year-old. No.
Over Kenneth's back.
I gotta skip ad. Who is Kenneth Rowan? I honestly.
Ah, dude. Who are these guys?
Have Cleveland Clinic. It is my
Elbow. Do you see an elbow bump? The city of little bastards.
Yeah, dude, they're keeping it clean.
In the beautiful Samson Pavilion of the Health Education Campus at Cleveland Clinic. We share this campus
Jake,
with our partners.
can I borrow your
Case
AirPods?
Western Research
Yeah.
This building reads very special needs. It was opened just a year ago as a place for students in medical, nursing, and dental to begin their professional careers.
Here, let me unpair them.
At that time, as we were
There you go.
opening this campus, none of us could have imagined that we would soon
I have to
face
take them out and hold the button on the back of it.
when it happened, we converted this building into a
Like, take the case off.
surge hospital. The space in which you are sitting right now is 1,000 hospital beds.
Hold on, everybody's face is gonna disappear for a sec.
Eventually, the surgery not coming behind. But tonight, this building serves another purpose. in support of our democracy, and it is a historic occasion for us and for our city. We are proud to support the Commission on Presidential Debates as their health security advisor. We at Cleveland Clinic and our 70,000 caregivers.
If they're going to make everybody in the audience social distance and sit 6 feet apart, why did they even bother putting an entire row of chairs? Why didn't they just put the chairs all 6 feet?
Our organization and our caregivers
Oh, you know.
have never shown brighter than during this pandemic.
To make them feel
The
good.
pandemic has
Give
brought out the
kickbacks
best
to the big
of our
chair.
organization
Aw, dude, big chairs
and our
involved?
caregivers of our city and our
Big
state.
chair's always involved.
The
Dude,
partnership
I
and
know. I should know by now that big chairs always. They got their little mitts and everything.
And we are particularly
Dude, what did the DNC do if Biden dies on stage tonight? I honestly don't know. Like, I think if Biden died, they'd try to, like, just say, oh, it's Kamala now. She gets all his things.
I guess it's just Kamala
Thank
now.
you, Tom. Case Western Reserve is honored.
And then, Klobuchar is her VP.
And delighted to show
That'd be the
you
most, like,
the
Democrat
spectacular
thing
space
ever.
we created together. Research has long shown that team-based healthcare leads
It was
to
the
better
Democrats, so
outcomes
they'd
for
probably
patients.
try to pick somebody,
Yet nearly
like,
every academic
darker
institution
skin tone than
continues to
Kamala,
prepare
or somebody
students
really
in separate
gay.
buildings, literally in silos.
Like, really gay.
Yet after spending years learning
What's,
only with
what are we
students
talking
from the same
Oh,
profession,
Brandon
doctors
said,
with
what would the
doctors,
DNC do if
nurses,
Biden
nurses,
died
and
on
so
stage tonight?
They are suddenly expected to know how to work in teams once
Yeah.
they get their
It's more of a
diploma.
joke.
Kamala will come out
We knew
as...
there had to be a better way,
Yeah, she'll
and
come out,
together we built it.
as
We're not
She'll
filled
come
with
out as
stage
trans.
and seats.
Yeah, she'll
This
come out as
atrium
trans,
gives
and then she'll be
hundreds of
elected as
students
president,
a
and then
huge open space to study, talk,
Yeah.
and simply be together. The entire
Big
building
brain.
provides
See it now.
multiple spaces for them to come together, supported by
Yeah.
an
She'll
academic
come out as
model
the
that
president of
emphasizes
Antifa.
opportunities to learn
She's
with
gonna identify as a Timberland food.
Add
Oh, dude,
state-of-the-art
she is a
technology,
Timberland boot.
and we
Did you
know
see
our
those
graduates
friggin',
will
like,
be uniquely
high...
prepared to excel in
Those,
team-based
like,
care and
she had some
ultimately
Converse
lead it.
high tops on the other day that
Along
had,
the way,
like,
Cleveland Clinic and
4-inch
Case Western
platforms in
Reserve
them.
Also learned from one another. Among
Cool.
the most
I want to-
valuable lessons
Honestly, I'd play a
was
concert.
that through collaboration,
Brandon's listening. I'd
we
play a
achieved
concert.
far more than either of us
big,
could achieve alone.
Big
Thank you,
heel
Tom, for
Converse.
being such a wonderful colleague and friend. Thank
Here, I
you
got
to
him,
the
I got him.
Commission for giving both of our organizations
You gonna pull 'em up?
the opportunity to be
No, I'm
part of this historic event.
Pulling your volume
It
up.
is a true privilege to contribute to our nation's
my volume up?
democratic
No,
process.
you don't do
And
anything.
thank you
Don't
all
do
for
anything.
watching.
Oh,
It's
I'm
on
not
me.
doing
It's on my end.
I'm done doing anything, Jake.
Thank you. Who we got now?
I can't believe this is happening. This is so
Oh, here we go.
surreal.
There's the-
Do you think I don't know how many people are gonna watch this?
You're the Trump. Well, you missed it. You were gone. He said how many people were gonna watch it.
One housekeeping bit for the audience.
Oh, those chairs
as soon
are
as
apart.
This debate is over, if you will please remain seated.
It's
you
for the
will be
riches.
shown
Most valuable
which way
player.
to exit, and please stay where you are until that happens. I would like to now introduce Chris Wallace, the moderator of this evening's debate.
I'm actually kind of excited it's Chris Wallace if it had to be like anybody.
Yeah, I think Chris Wallace, of all the scumbag Fox people, I don't know, he did a good job with the Trump.
That's
You guys
why.
did better than David Portnoy.
David Portnoy walks in. So, Mr. Trump, I hear you have like
How'd
a
you get so
really
bad?
big penis. Like I heard it's just like this.
Wait, is this guy's mic not working?
Yeah, it's like turned off.
Oh, what a boob. Maybe it's like a private thing, like just for the people here. It's gonna get weird. This is all fake, and you know it. So act like it's actually happening. The projections of the president will be really real. So act like they're real. If he spits
We are
on you,
bringing in the
pretend like he actually
clones
spit on
now.
you. Yeah, we're gonna bring in the clones. There's gonna be some clone work tonight. And
We've
some
muted this
projection.
so Q does not hear it.
Yeah, so this is just right now. If you're watching right now, people, this is only for the audience that's there. They're explaining the holographic projection that they're going to be using for tonight's podcast. Yeah, that's the one, Vivian. I can see it on the.
Will, I need you to
On the
set
mirror.
up a
What's
mute
up?
button on your computer that you can just click. So if you gotta like do something,
Oh
you
yeah,
just
that's
go.
okay. Well, it was like a real quick. I didn't even think about it. I'm sorry.
I know it kind of did look like Project Runway. Like they look way too like. It's mostly Ivanka. Like she just always looks like she's.
Can you hear it over there? Can you hear it? It's coming through on Vivian's. That's actually good then. No, this is good. This is tech support.
No, it's not.
I would need to unmute myself for this to tell you that she can hear it on her stream. So something's going on.
It's probably their stream. I'll refresh it, see what's going on.
Yeah, just make sure.
About Biden getting hit and this pivoting, but I think Biden's going to hit back. I do.
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't want to watch it on like a major network because we will get binged and bonged. Oh my, little Tiffany Trump, dude.
So apparently it is just muted. I think. I don't think they're.
Yeah, C-SPAN's muted right now.
Audience,
yeah.
which is so lame.
Well, they're just like, okay, guys. So when we're doing this, please be quiet. We weren't gonna get a good debate on.
No, they're talking weird stuff right now. I'm telling you what. They're talking about the holographic protection.
Well, no,
so
they're like, okay, so if you're low on your adrenochrome, that's going to be provided in the intermission. Adrenochrome, we have the frightened children to the left. Boys are to the left, girls are to the right, whichever you prefer. They're full of adrenochrome. They turned it right back on as soon as you got done talking. That's so funny.
I cannot believe this. I can't believe this is so surreal. This is happening.
Dude, it's... I know.
It's weird, right? It's so weird.
Dude, it is wild. Oh, there's Melania, dude.
Trump is absurd.
There's Melania, or it's her double that they use all the time, and we still don't talk about enough that no, 1,000%. Like,
you believe it? I don't believe it.
100,000%. Like, if you look at a picture of her, because sometimes she looks like Melania.
I don't know,
sometimes she looks like a random woman. No, Will.
Sometimes I don't look like Will.
There's not been a picture of you, and I haven't been able to discern it was you. It's like she'll have like a scarf on and like big sunglasses and a hat that comes down, and then when like her face goes up, you're like, oh, that's not her.
Where's she from again? Croatia or something like that?
Sure. The MAGA hat fighter? No, I don't think that's him. I would be surprised. I think that's one of like Trump's campaign team. Who's Trump's new campaign manager?
Spirit. He's not that guy in the hospital.
Well, no, his new one. He's in prison, or he's in like jail hospital.
Hospital. You probably shouldn't. I don't know. I feel weird about people being in jail. Like, I guess they have to be like probably under surveillance, but it's not that good. I think it's weird. What's his name? Who was
Brad
Parscale? The guy that got shot in the back.
Oh.
Brad Parscale. No, the guy that got shot in the back. He was like in handcuffs. While he was
well, I understand it if it was like a violent like felon or whatever, but when it's like the subject of that kind of like international scrutiny, you'd think you'd like I don't know, not handcuff the guy that was like paralyzed.
Not that this matters. Not that this matters.
He's paralyzed.
Deal, but he was like. Well, I guess he's paralyzed. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, like you don't handcuff like. Yeah. Like he's paralyzed.
I think
permanently.
Yeah.
Like. And they
paralyzed permanently
and like in like a medicated coma for several days.
Yeah, if they hadn't paralyzed him, then it would make sense to handcuff a violent offender, but because they paralyzed him and et cetera, yeah. Let's see here. I thought we were rocking and rolling. This should be coming any minute now. What a crazy season.
Yeah, like right now, I bet the other channels are going. Well, now what do you think we're gonna do? Like, what's gonna happen with the debate? Well, I don't think Trump's going to be civil.
Let's make some things up.
Dude, I can't. I want like fucking. I want Trump to come out on stage and then go like manually inspect Biden's ears for an earpiece. I won't be satisfied that he's not using an earpiece unless he uses a cotton swab on him.
I want that to happen. I want them to cotton swab
the ears.
Oh, this tension is so thick. I want this. I would just cut it with a knife. Chris Wallace, cut the tension, baby.
You can't talk yet. So apparently there's like no commercials during this. Like it's just straight. It's straight 90. Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
They like made him take him out or whatever.
Yo, they were like, hey, we can't do Joe Rogan, of course.
Well, because I think the Democrats like
it's kind of smart.
They did some kind of like, because there's like a
lobbying.
Well, not kind of like, so there's a Oh, here we go. I'm Chris Wallace. Oh my god, I thought he was gonna say like Anheuser-Busch. This debate is sponsored by Anheuser-Busch. Drink beer.
I'm a little ahead of you. It's annoying.
Well, so if you look at mine, you can sync yours up to it.
Yeah, that's what I was about to do. I read my mind. How do I sync it up? Is there a timestamp?
Yeah, let's see. I mean, I am at, I think, like, negative, like, 9 seconds. Here, I'm gonna hit live. Here we go.
Yeah, shit.
There we go, Will. We've done it. Oh, the audience has promised. Buzz Light Lime, no!
George Soros won't pay him unless they're silent the whole time.
That's true. Actually, I'm only doing the live stream today because I have not gotten my Soros bucks this month.
You didn't get yours yet?
Mm-mm.
Alright, here they come.
No, last month they were short, dude.
Oh my gosh, look at him. Oh, that was awesome. Did you see that moment?
Are you laughing at them walking? What? Oh my god.
They're dropping right in.
You say the Constitution is clear about your obligation in the Senate to consider a nominee to the court. Vice President Biden, you say that this is an effort by the President and the Republicans to jam through an appointment and what you
I hope Joe Biden's response to a question is to walk across the stage and just punch him.
Yeah, it's gonna be so awesome.
Or do like the Popeye thing, like.
Trump is clutching that podium.
He always does that. Like, he stands like a ghoul, like a goblin. Elections have consequences?
We have a phenomenal nominee, respected by all.
Good in every way. She's like Jesus in that way.
So I think she's going to be fantastic. We have plenty of time. Even if we did it after the election.
They don't have plenty of time. Like, even if it goes well, she wouldn't be confirmed for like 90 days.
He's gonna win. He thinks he's gonna win though.
Oh, I know, but like, no, he can definitely nominate her and start the process now, but it wouldn't go through for like 90 days. Like, she got good grades, folks. No, they tried, and you didn't let them. Right, not Trump, but the Republicans. They just didn't let them do it. Like, they tried to do that. It wouldn't happen in reverse because all the Democrats are saying, "Oh, we're gonna be civil about it."
First of all, thank you for doing this. Mr. President. American
There's the civility I miss.
That's the first interruption.
United States Senators they're not going to get that choice now because we're in the middle of the election already. The election already started. Tens of thousands of people have already voted. And so the thing that should happen is we should wait. We we should wait and see what the outcome of this election is. Because that's the only way the American people get to express.
Dude, look at his side eye, man.
Who they elect as president, who they elect as vice president. Now,
He looks like he's
They
looking
put
at like
powder
a.
on Biden.
Oh, absolutely. They put a pound of
To make
makeup
him
on
look
Trump.
more orange. Hold on.
he's in the Supreme Court right now trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which will strip $20 million
Oh boy.
from having
He's right though.
insurance now.
I'd lose mine.
It goes into court. And the justice,
Oh, come on. You're almost there.
Look at Trump. Look at Trump.
But she's written before she went to bench, which is her right, that she thinks that
That was a good move, Biden.
it's not constitutional. The other thing is on the court, and if it's struck down, what happens? Women's rights are fundamentally changed.
Yeah.
Once again, a woman can be held more money because she has a pre-existing condition of pregnancy. We're able to
That's true.
He's got a stutter, dude. I don't think he's got dementia.
Well, dementia is bringing out his stutter.
Sure. But
And there's 100 million people
Yeah,
with
that's
pre-existing conditions, and they'll be taken away as well.
It's true.
Those pre-existing conditions, insurance companies
he's doing a good job.
so it's just not appropriate.
It's question one. His brain's still going on full cylinders. But question four, he made.
Hey, he's so good.
The bigotry of low expectations.
That's a drink.
Wait, what? Did you just say there aren't 100 million people with pre-existing conditions? It's like a minute in before we got a lie.
We're not elected for 4 years. I'm not elected for 3 years. So we have the Senate, we have a president elected during that period of time.
Joe needs to clap back with what McConnell did. Like,
100 million people, Joe, 100 million people.
Joe's getting cucked.
The bigger problem that you have is that you're going to extend.
I do like that he's kind of laughing it off, though.
Yeah, it's good.
That's simply not true.
Well, you're certainly going to socialists. You're going to socialists.
This is now into, gentlemen, now into open discussion.
Joe, I beat the socialist.
He knows that what I proposed is that we expand the Medicare and we increase it. We do not write any. And
It's
one of
true.
the big debates we had with 23 of my colleagues trying to win the nomination that I won were saying that Biden wanted to allow people to have private insurance. They can. They do. They will.
That is what? He got railed about every debate about that.
He says his party.
No, his party railed him at every debate about that.
That's an interesting point, though.
No, it's not.
Interesting
Because
distinction they made here in the debate. Yes, it is.
it's 87% of Americans want it. It's not just the party.
It's going to wipe out
Right.
And by the way, the 200,000 people that have died on his watch, how many of those?
Good catch.
How many of the 200,000 people that died survived?
What does it mean for them? 308,000 military people dying because you couldn't provide a proper health care in the military. So don't tell me about happy to talk about. And if you were here, you could.
Trump, you also haven't
Interesting, he
funded
has
that.
in the pocket.
Because you were very late on the draw.
Because he's a lot more together than Joe.
You see him just finger shush Chris Wallace?
Oh, his fingers shushing him.
President, as a moderator, we are going to talk about COVID in the next segment, but go ahead.
Let me finish. The point is that the president also is opposed to Roe v. Wade.
Dude, Trump's gonna say socials like 80 times. Just buckle in.
And so that's also
Interesting that he said, you don't, but your party.
So the election is all.
Yeah, like that's
Biden
not.
doesn't. You got caught. You got caught. Biden
Not
doesn't.
really. That's nothing. It doesn't matter what the party wants.
It's just the
The
first
party's
of the
there
many
without
things
him.
he got him on.
He didn't get him on anything.
Hold on, what are you talking about right now?
All right, let's talk. We got a lot to unpack here.
Oh, Chris. Aww.
Mr. President,
Dude,
the
Chris
people
is.
will hear
He's trying, man.
a week after the election in which the Trump administration, along with 18 state attorneys general, are seeking to overturn Obamacare, to end Obamacare. You have spent the last...
There's not enough alcohol in the world.
If I may ask a question, sir. Over the last 4 years, you have promised to repeal and replace Obamacare, but you have never in these 4 years come up with a plan, a comprehensive plan to replace Obamacare. Well,
I got rid of the individual mandate. Excuse me. I got rid of the individual mandate, which was a big chunk of Obamacare. That is absolutely a big thing. That was the worst part of Obamacare.
I didn't ask about a big thing.
I'll ask Joe. The individual mandate was the most unpopular aspect of Obamacare.
No, let me do it for you. I'll ask Joe for you.
I'm the moderator of this debate, and I would
I
like
respectfully
you to
refuse.
my question, and then you can answer. You, in the course of these 4 years, have never come up with a comprehensive plan to replace Obamacare, and
Noting at their last interview, he said he'd have it in 2 weeks. That was 10 weeks ago.
Executive order to protect people with pre-existing conditions 5 days before this debate. So my question, sir, is what is...
And then a previous time, 4 weeks before the debate.
First of all, I guess I'm debating you, not him, but that's okay. I'm not surprised. Let me just tell you something. There's nothing so I'm cutting drug prices. I'm going with favored nations, which no president has the courage to do because you're going against Big Pharma. Drug prices will be coming down 80 or 90%. You could have done it during your 47-year period in government, but you didn't do it. Nobody's done it. So we're cutting health care. All of the things that we've done, insulin. I give you an example. Insulin. It was destroying families, destroying people because I'm getting it for so cheap. It's like water. You want to know the truth? So cheap. Take a look at all of the...
Oh my God, this rules. At least the downfall of America is going to be hilarious.
They pay just a tiny fraction.
As I say, this is open discussion.
No,
Let
but
me ask
this is
you
big.
about...
This is open discussion.
You'll be happy on one of your points to ask the Vice President, which is he points out that you would like to add a public option to Obamacare.
Yes.
The argument that he makes, and other Republicans make, is that that is going to
Oh my
end
God.
private insurance. Well,
Poor Chris Long.
He's trying
it will
so
end
hard.
private insurance and create a government takeover of
Oh my
It does
God.
not. It's only for those people who are so poor they qualify for Medicaid. They can get that free in most states, except governors who want to deny people who are poor Medicaid. Anyone who qualifies for Medicare Medicaid would automatically be enrolled in the public option. The vast majority of the American people would still not be in that option. Number one.
Joe, you
Number
agree
two.
with Bernie
Number-
Sanders, who's far left, on the manifesto,
With
we
you-
call it.
with
And that
manifesto.
gives you socialized medicine.
Look,
He's
hey,
talking like he's on a
listen,
Fox
listen,
News
the
panel.
fact of the matter is, I beat Bernie Sanders.
Not by much.
I beat him a whole hell of a lot. I'm here standing facing you.
See, this is smart, actually. Trump's trying to get him to attack Sanders here to make Sanders' base not like him. That's what he's trying to do.
Very lucky tonight as well.
He's trying to make
And
him...
tonight I'm going to make sure, because here's the deal. Here's the deal. The fact is that everything he's saying so far is simply a lie. I'm not here to call out his lies. Everybody knows he's a liar.
But you
I just want to make sure. I want to make sure.
He needs to just ignore Trump. If he wants to get through this, he has to just ignore what he's saying.
President, can you let him finish?
He doesn't know how to do that. He has, you put the wrong guy, the wrong night at the wrong time.
Listen, you agreed with
Here's the
Bernie
deal.
Sanders that the
The
manifesto.
whole idea.
Let him
Oh my
There is no
God!
He's gonna do it the entire time. He's not gonna stop.
Number two.
Biden just needs to not.
Just lost the left.
Yeah, he has to just barrel through.
With Bernie Sanders, plan.
You just said he lost the left. Yeah, he is going to
Do you have
do
any
that.
idea what this
That's exactly what he's doing.
He's got a fucking plan, yeah.
Socialized medicine.
That's the whole plan, is to deflect everything. Socialism, BLM, Antifa. Whole debate.
Because he in fact already has cost 10 million people
cannot
their health
believe this
care
ass,
that they
dude.
had from their
God, Trump's
employers.
such a
I can. This is him.
There are 20 million
It's
people
textbook,
getting
yeah.
health care through Obamacare now, but he wants to take it away.
It's almost like fascists don't want alternative points of view.
Take it
Because their ideas don't stand up to, like, criticism.
By the way, he doesn't know how. He doesn't know how to do that. He has never offered a plan.
Nah, because
He has
everything
no
Biden
idea.
says, Biden's not gonna outright lie.
Gentlemen, you realize if you're both speaking at the same time, let the president speak. Go ahead, sir.
Obamacare is no good. We made it better.
Wait, he didn't even let him
And I had a
finish.
choice to make very early on. We took away the individual
appeasing
mandate.
Trump.
We guarantee pre-existing conditions.
I
We
know.
took away the individual mandate.
He appeased Hitler.
Listen, this is the way it is. And that
Kinda.
destroyed... They shouldn't even call it Obamacare. Then I had a choice to make. Do I let my people run it really well or badly? If I run it badly, they'll probably blame him, but they'll blame me. But more importantly, I
He
want to
said
help
multiple
people.
times he wants to
He
run
said,
it
"You gotta
badly."
run it so well. And I just had a meeting with them. They said the problem is no matter how well you run Obamacare, it's a disaster.
Dude, Brandon,
it's too
I know.
expensive, premiums are too high, and it doesn't work. So we do want to get rid of it. Chris, we want to get rid of it.
I understand it, sir, but I have to give you roughly equal time. Please.
Roughly.
The vice president.
Good.
He has no plan for health care. He sends out wishful thinking. He has executive orders that have no power. He hasn't lowered drug costs for anybody. He's been
It's true.
promising a health care plan since he got elected. He has none, like almost everything else he talks about.
It's true.
He does not have a plan. He doesn't have a plan. And the fact is, this man doesn't know what he's talking about. He's
I have one final question for you,
Sure.
Mr. Vice President. If Senate Republicans, we were talking briskly about the Supreme Court here, if Senate Republicans go ahead and confirm Justice Barrett, there has been talk about ending the filibuster or even packing the court, adding to the 9 justices there. You call this a distraction.
I have to pee, but I don't want to leave this.
It wasn't brought up by the president. It was brought up by some of your Democratic colleagues. So my question to you is, you have
I want the rest of America to be this.
Are you willing to tell the American people tonight whether or not you will support either ending the filibuster or packing the court?
Whatever position I take in that, that'll become the issue. The issue is the American people should speak.
Good job,
you
Joe.
should go out and vote. You're in voting now. Vote and let your senators know how strongly you feel. Vote now. Make sure you
Don't respond.
Let people know
thank you,
you're
Joe.
senators.
Hell
I'm not
yeah.
gonna answer the question because the question is
Don't let him frame it.
Would you shut up,
What?
man? Listen, who is on the radio?
He just told the president to shut up.
This is so
We have ended this segment. We'll move on to the second
He just
segment.
told the president to shut up. That rules.
The people understand.
Keep yapping, man. Keep yapping, man.
The second subject.
That's wild, man.
It's an awfully serious subject, so let's try to be serious.
Yeah, but he should have answered the question.
No, he shouldn't have. No, it was a bait. No, he absolutely shouldn't have.
Well, no, you can provide an answer and
No,
say what he said.
he's letting Trump frame it. No, he's letting Trump frame it.
After we produce
Or letting the question frame his thought.
months or even years before we come back to anything approaching normal. My question for both of you is, based on what you have said and done so far and what you have said you would do starting in 2021, why should the American people trust you more than your opponent to deal with this public health crisis going forward? In this case, the question goes to you first, sir.
Because Trump has doo-doo brain. Good luck.
We in fact have 5% or 4% of the world's population, 20% of the deaths.
I will say, he seems spry.
40,000 people a day are contracting COVID.
Good job.
In addition to that,
This is his best debate ever.
750 and 1,000 people there dying.
He's been trained.
When he was presented with that number, he said,
Yeah, he's
it is
worked hard, dude.
what it is.
That's why he's been away
Somebody
hiding.
who's practicing
Like,
for
you
the
rock
base.
who you are.
That's why it
How
is.
many music
The
montages
president
did Kirk
has
to get this
no
start?
plan.
Like a
He
billion.
hasn't laid out any.
Several a
He knew
day.
all the way back in February how serious this crisis was. He knew it was
Facts,
a
Joe.
deadly disease. What did he do? He's on tape. He's acknowledging he knew it. He said he didn't tell us or give people a warning of it because he didn't.
And notice how Trump doesn't
panic.
interrupt in this part.
You don't panic. He panicked. In addition to that,
Because he can't
what did
fucking
do?
say anything.
He went in and we were insisting
killing
that
him.
He wanted to say
the
something there. He
people
wanted to say
had
something
around
there.
in China should
He
be
knows
able
he
to go to
can't.
Wuhan
Anything he'd
and
say
see
would be
themselves
terrible for him.
How dangerous this was. He did not even ask Xi.
He knows he needs to not interrupt.
He told us what a great job she was doing. He said we owe him a debt of gratitude for being so transparent
talks
with
so
us.
bad.
See, in his earpiece, his people are telling him to shut up.
Waited and waited and waited. He still doesn't have a
face
plan.
is face
I
one
laid
way.
out back in March exactly what we should be doing. And I laid out again.
No, let him go over it. You didn't give him any time.
We should be providing all the protective gear possible.
Let him go over fucking an hour.
In order to be able to go out and get people the help they need to keep their businesses open schools. It costs a lot of money. You should get out of your bunker and get out of the sand trap and get in your golf course and go in
That rule! That was a great turn of phrase!
And fund what needs to be done now to save lives.
Dude, Joe, hell yeah.
Wait, you have 2 minutes.
That was a good.
I fucking hate Joe, but that was great.
The country would have been left wide open.
That was great.
People would have died, not 200,000, and one person is too much. It's China's fault. It should have never happened. They stopped it from going
China's
in, but
fault.
It was China's
See,
fault.
I think
And by the way,
that's
when you
wearing
talk about
thin for a
numbers,
lot
you
of
don't
people
know how
now.
many people died in China. You don't know how many people died in Russia.
It doesn't
You
matter.
don't know how many people died in India. They don't exactly give you a straight count.
Well, it
just so
does
you
matter
understand.
only a little bit.
Well, like the
Really,
UK,
I
Brazil,
closed it, and you said
like all
he's
these other
xenophobic.
countries,
He's a
like
racist and he's xenophobic. Because you didn't think I should have closed our country. Wait a minute.
It says 2 minutes.
You didn't think we should have closed our country because you thought it was
Good job,
it was
Chris. Just trying to
terrible.
be fair.
You wouldn't
Good
have
job,
closed
buddy.
it for another 2 months. By my doing it early, in fact,
Just for
Dr.
Joe.
Fauci said
Let him talk, Joe. Let him
President
talk,
Trump
Joe. Let him
saved
talk.
thousands of lives. Many of your Democrat
Don't
governors
play
said
his game.
Well, no,
President
he needs to
Trump
not
did a
interrupt. That's
phenomenal
what he
job. We worked with the governor.
He should when he
Go
lies.
take a look.
He should. I think it would look
Governor said
good.
I did a
Not the whole
phenomenal
time.
job. Most of them
No,
said that.
no,
In fact,
it won't be
people that
productive for
would not
conversation.
be necessarily on my side.
This isn't
said
about
that.
conversation, Will.
President Trump did a phenomenal job. We did. We got the gowns. We got the masks. We made.
Not in
them
America.
better.
It's about getting the
Congratulations.
dunks.
And now we're weeks away from a vaccine.
Our president.
You wouldn't have made ventilators. Turns out
Already.
ventilators don't matter.
Fewer people are dying when they get sick.
We're doing
Far
therapeutics
fewer people
already.
are dying. We've done a great job. The only thing I haven't
Fewer
done
people
a
are
good job,
dying
and that's
now,
because of the
'cause
fake
we know how to
news.
treat it
No
better.
matter what you say
You
to them,
idiot.
they give you bad press on it. It's just fake news. They give you good press. They give me bad press because that's the way it is.
Fox News gives Biden
Just
mad
listen,
press.
I don't care. I've gotten used to it. But I'll tell you, Joe, you could never have done the job that we did. You don't have it in your blood. You could have never done that.
I got news.
You don't have it in your
I know how to do
blood?
the job. I know how to get the job. Well, you didn't do very well in swine flu.
What? Like 8 people died.
Disaster. Your own chief of staff said you were a disaster.
14,000 people died, not 200,000. There was no
very
economic recession.
Sir, you made a
There was no recession.
You made a point, but an answer.
And there was no one.
It's actually more
nobody
lethal.
shut
It's
down
actually
the
more
economy.
lethal.
Yeah, it's like
That's not
super
just-
lethal. Like if you got it, it was like a 20% chance or something stupid.
Because, look, you folks at home, how many of you got up this morning and had an empty chair at the kitchen table because someone died of COVID? How many of you were in a situation where you lost your mom or dad and you couldn't even speak to them? You had a nurse holding the phone up so you could, in fact, say goodbye.
Hell yeah,
How
Joe.
many people?
Far more people.
And,
You would have been
and by the way,
months late.
your own
Months behind,
his
Joe.
own CDC director says we
Good job,
can lose
Joe.
as many as another 200,000 people between now and the end of the year. And he held up and he said, if we just wear a mask, we can save half of those numbers. Just the mask. And by the way,
Good job.
in terms of the whole notion of a vaccine, we're for a vaccine.
Joe's actually kind of killing it.
I know you do.
Well, I'm
We
saying
trust
Joe
in
Biden's
science.
phenomenal.
We trust Dr.
Johnson
Fauci.
Johnson, Pfizer.
I'm voting for Joe
By the way,
Gentlemen,
and then-
gentlemen, let me move on to questions about the future because you both have touched on one of
I don't
the
want to leave, but I
two
gotta
questions
pee.
I'm gonna ask.
I held it off.
Focusing on the future for President Trump, you have repeatedly either contradicted or been at odds with some of your government's own top scientists. The week before last, the head of the Centers for Disease Control, Dr. Redfield, said it would be summer before the vaccine would become generally available to the public. You said that he was confused and mistaken. Those were your 2 words. But Dr. Slawi, the head of your Operation Warp Speed, has said exactly the same thing. Are they both wrong?
Well, I've spoken to the companies and we can have it a lot sooner. It's a very political thing because people like this would rather make it political than save lives. It is a very political thing. I've spoken to Pfizer, I've spoken to all of the people that you have to speak to. We have great Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and
All of the
others.
people
They
you
can
have
go
to speak
faster
to.
than that by a lot. Become very political because the left, or I don't know if I
So
call
you're
them left, I don't know
suggesting
what I
that
call
the
them.
head of your Operation Warp Speed, Dr. Slawi,
I disagree with them. No, I disagree with both of them. And he didn't say that. He said it could be there, but it could also be much sooner. I had him in my office 2 days ago.
He talked about the summer, sir, before it's generally available.
Yes, he said it's a possibility that we'll have the answer before November 1st. It could also be
Asking about the vaccine availability.
We're going to deliver it right away. We have the military all set up, logistically, they're all set up. We have the military
it's gonna be
that
much
delivers
faster for
soldiers,
political
and they
people
can do
like Biden on the
200,000 a
left,
day.
whatever I call it.
They're going to be
This is
delivering
gonna be a
No.
It's not even on the left.
People are having like terrible fucking reactions to it, and like
By the way, maybe you could inject some bleach in your arm. That would take care of it. This is the same man.
said sarcastic.
That
Oh
was
my
God.
That was said
And
sarcastic.
so here's the deal. This man is talking about vaccines.
That is so
every serious company is talking about maybe having a vaccine done by the end of the year. The distribution of that vaccine will not occur until sometime beginning or the middle of next year to get it out. If we get the vaccine, and pray God we will. Pray God we will.
Mr. Vice President, I want to pick up
You'll have
on
the
that.
vaccine
I
sooner
want to
than-
pick up on this question, though. You say the public can trust the scientists, but they can't trust President Trump. In fact, you said that again tonight. Your running mate, Senator Harris, goes further, saying the public health experts, quote, will be muzzled, will be suppressed. Given the fact
They already
that
have
polls
been.
already show that
Like, that's already
people are
happened in-
concerned
there's
about the
multiple
vaccine
states.
and are reluctant to take it, are you and your running mate, Senator Harris, contributing to that fear?
No more than the question you just asked him. You pointed out. He puts pressure and disagrees with his own scientists.
But you're saying you
Everybody
can't,
knows.
Senator
That's a
Harris
really
is
good
saying you
answer.
can't trust the science.
Well,
Yeah.
no, you can trust the scientists. She didn't say that. You can't trust
She
the
said the public health
Did say
experts,
that.
quote, will be muzzled, will be
Yes.
suppressed.
Well, that's what he's going to try to do. But there's millions of scientists. There's thousands of scientists out there, like here at this great hospital, that don't work
Millions,
for him.
thousands.
Their job doesn't
I think
depend
that's
on
himself.
him. That's not. They're the people.
That's how you can tell he's getting better. Because he didn't used to.
By the way,
They will have the vaccine very soon.
No, they won't.
For a moment.
He's doing a great job.
What he's telling
He really
you,
is.
in light of all the lies he's told you about
Whatever meth they have him on is top quality.
he still hasn't even
He's like
acknowledged
the cleanest meth
that
in the
he
market. I
knew
want whatever
this
Joe
was
Biden
happening,
smoked
knew how
tonight to
dangerous
make
it
him
was
so.
gonna be
Wonder if he's
back
doing
in
on it.
February.
Taking
He didn't
Alpha Brain
even
on it.
tell
He's
you.
taking Alpha
He's
Brain.
on record saying
Taking Alpha Brain.
Great.
panicked or
And
he
then
just
talking
looked at the
about
stock
you
market.
and
One of
you
the two.
and you.
Because guess
Yeah,
what?
that's really good. He's actually talking to the audience and not talking to
Unless
Trump.
he gets
Yeah,
a lot
he's doing a
smarter,
good job.
lot quicker.
You know what that tells me? He knows people are listening.
You used the word smart. So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Joe. 47 years you've done nothing.
Let's have this debate.
And if you would have had, let me just tell you something, Joe.
No,
If you would have had
I want that gift now.
of what I was put through, I had to close
Yeah,
the
'cause he's
greatest
just-
economy in the
yeah, he's
history
getting
of our
pissed 'cause
country.
he's doing
And by the way,
terrible.
now it's being built again.
I know.
And it's
We're
going
gonna
up
get to the
fast.
economy in the next
He
segment.
feels like he feels it.
It's going up fast.
Okay.
Forward to it.
When it comes to how the
goes,
virus
"Okay,
has been
what
handled
you see
so
of me?"
far, the two of you have taken very different approaches, and this is going to affect
Hey, he's getting
how
pissed
the
'cause he's doing
virus is
terrible.
handled going forward by
this is really
whichever of you ends up becoming the next president. I want to quickly go through several of those. Reopenings. Vice President
wait to talk
Biden, you
about
have
Trump
been
supporting
much more
trends
reluctant than
tomorrow.
President
Really,
Trump
really.
They're gonna say you'd
about
agree.
reopening the economy and school. Why, sir?
Because he doesn't have a plan. If I were running, I know what the plan is. You've got to provide these businesses the ability to have the money to be able to reopen with the PPE as well as with the sanitation they need. You have to
Tell
provide
that to
them
Nancy
plastic.
Pelosi.
Okay? Well, he's just shush for a minute. And
Schumer.
by the
Oh,
way,
because she went in the
Nancy Pelosi
fucking
and Schumer,
salon
they
without
have-
the mask.
Again, that was
He
pretty quick
won't
there.
even meet with them. The Republicans won't meet with the Senate. And he sits in his golf course. And, I mean, literally, think about it.
You probably play
think
more than
about
I do, Joe.
What about this question of
Joe's
reopening?
hips can't take it. Like, he's not out
Boston
there.
shut down this country. And I want to keep it open. And we
You
did a
ju-
great
he
thing
just
by
admitted
shutting
he
it
shut
down.
it down.
Wait a minute, Joe. Let me shut you down for a second, Joe, just for 1 second. He wants to shut down the country. We just went through it. We had to because we didn't know
love
anything
this
about
shit.
the
This
disease.
is
Now we
insane.
found that elderly people with heart problems and diabetes and different problems are very, very vulnerable. We learned a lot. Young children aren't. Even younger people aren't. We've learned a lot. But he wants to shut it down. More people will be hurt by continuing. If you look at Pennsylvania, if you look at certain states,
yeah, I wonder why.
Down.
Maybe if we like did everything earlier, it wouldn't still be a huge problem. States weren't reopening, lots of things.
But those states are not doing.
It's only been 30 minutes, guys.
President Trump, you have begun
to. The debate's only been 30 minutes.
Of masks, the disease, and in fact, recently you have cited the issue of waiters touching their masks and touching plates. Are you questioning the efficacy of
You have
masks?
to understand, if you look, I mean, I have a mask right here. I put a mask on, when I think I need it. Tonight, as an example,
When I
everybody's
think I
had a
need
test,
it.
and you've had social distancing and all of the things that you have to, but I wear masks when needed. When needed, I wear masks.
Okay, let me ask.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen. I will say
Vice President Biden.
Do you think that's a slight?
Look, the way to open businesses is give them the wherewithal to be able to. We provided money.
I am really surprised with how good Joe's
masks
doing.
Make a big difference. His own head of the CDC said if we just wore masks between now, everybody wore masks,
he almost
and
like
social distance between now and January, we'd probably.
He really is. I'm honestly surprised. I thought he would hit the Dementia Joe thing
No
hard.
serious person said the opposite. No serious.
Dr. Fauci said
he did not say the opposite.
He said very strongly.
He's really impugning his own person that he kept in office.
I want to ask you both about one last subject, because your different approaches has even affected the way that you have campaigned. President Trump, you're holding large rallies with crowds packed together, thousands of people outside. Yes, sir.
No, he should. No, I want him to go off, dude.
Holding much smaller events with
nobody will show up.
Yeah, but he seems so tepid so far. Like I want him to get a little confident.
The big rallies, why you not?
That was fucking awesome. You are correct.
You never have to say it.
Are you not worried about
great job
spreading
as a
disease?
president, and I'll have 35,000 people show up at airports. We use airports.
Are you not worried about
we
the
have
disease
a lot of
issues?
people. Well, so far we have had no problem whatsoever. It's outside. That's a big difference according to
He looks.
Herman Cain, cough, cough.
We do them outside.
He looks
We have
bewildered. Yeah,
tremendous
Herman Cain is
crowds,
fucking
as
dead.
you see. I mean, and literally on 24 hours.
Oh my god, just as you said that, my tweet deck, there's a gif of Herman Cain smiling on my other monitor. Going by.
Herman Cain and Hannibal.
Yeah. So far, we've had no problems, and it's just a gif of Herman Cain.
I'm way far away from those other people. That's what he said. I'm going to be okay. He's not worried about you. He's not worried about the people out there breathing.
Fucking slam dunk, dude.
No negative effect.
We've had no negative effect, and we've had 40,000 people at these rallies.
Wow.
Say Herman Cain. Say Herman Cain.
Yes, I would. He's been totally irresponsible.
Please do it. Say Herman Cain fucking
social
died.
distancing and people wearing masks. Basically encourage him not to.
All right.
Then he's a fool.
If you could get the crowds, you would have done the same thing. But you can't. Nobody can.
Gentlemen, can we move on to the economy? Gentlemen, can we move on to the
I mean, he's
economy?
right.
The economy
Joe Biden
is, I think
lowered
it's fair to
his
say,
face and
recovering
closed his eyes.
faster than expected from the shutdown.
He's done it a couple times, man.
In the second quarter, the unemployment rate fell to 8.4% last month. The Federal Reserve
You can
says
tell
the
Trump
hit
came
to
in
growth, which
prepared,
is going to
and he's
be
been
there,
flustered,
is not
like
going to be
hard.
nearly as big as they had
Trump did
expected.
come in prepared. He forgot
President
to
Trump,
do
you
his
say
speech.
we
He
are
did
in a
it first.
V-shape.
That's like every one of his
recovery.
fucking speeches. He goes like, he
Vice
reads half the
President Biden,
speech
you
and then
say
just
it's
gives
more
up.
of a K-shape. What difference does that mean to the American people in terms of the economy? President Trump, in this segment, you go first.
So we built the greatest economy in history. We closed it down.
It doesn't
because
matter.
of the
Trump's
China
not gonna
plague.
stay on
When
the-
the plague came in, we closed it down, which was very hard psychologically to do. He didn't think we should close it down, and he was wrong. And again, 2 million people would be dead now instead of still
I love how, like,
204,000 people.
Trump
is too
doesn't
much. One
understand the
person is too
scientific
much.
process
Should've never
of, like,
happened
being
from
wrong
China.
at first
But what happened
and then
is
changing your
we
mind.
closed it down, and now we're reopening,
tried
and we're
to
doing
scheme him
record
with a
business.
hypothetical
We had
situation.
10.4
Yeah.
million people in a 4-month period that we've
Biden
put
really
back
needs to
into the
rail down
workforce.
on the
That's a
real
record, the
situation.
likes of which nobody's
He should
ever
also
seen
point
before.
out that it's
And
hypothetical.
He wants to close down he will shut it down again. He
He's
will
saying the
destroy
exact
this
same thing he said
country.
5 minutes
A lot
ago.
of people, between drugs and alcohol and depression, when you start shutting it down, you take a look at what's happening at some of your Democrat-run states where they have these tough shutdowns, And I'm telling you, it's because they don't want to open it. One of them came out last week. You saw that. Oh, we're going to open up on November 9th. Why November 9th? Because it's after the election. They think they're hurting us by keeping them closed. They're hurting people.
See, he's winking at the guys that think it's going to be over after the election.
They can wear masks. They can do whatever they want.
He's doing a good job right here. He's doing a good job walking that out.
Yeah,
he's doing a good job at like signaling. It's like a dog whistle, but for like COVID deniers.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
You're talking about
Well,
almost
for COVID, like people that think we should
and you
open
look
up
at what's going on with divorce.
Well, no, I'm talking about the people that are like, oh yeah, after November 3rd, goes away. Goes away.
Yes, there's those people, but there are, what he's also signaling to is the people that are upset about the way their states are being run. Because
oh wait, hold on.
We don't need somebody to come in and say, let's shut it down.
All right.
He was referencing Antifa for the first time, and so I wanted to tune in.
Posing the question, the president says it's a V-shaped recovery. You say it's a K-shaped recovery. What's the difference?
The difference is millionaires and billionaires like him in the middle of the COVID crisis have done very well.
I like how he said millionaires and billionaires, because he's not a billionaire.
$1 billion because of his profligate tax proposal, and he only focused on the market. But you folks at home,
true.
You folks living in Scranton and Claymont and all the small towns.
He referenced Scranton.
How will you do?
Even after that whole thing.
A total of $750 in tax.
He should.
Sir, he wants that. Yeah, I understand. You've agreed to the 2 minutes, so please let him have it.
Do I get my time back? The fact is that he is, in fact, worked on this in a way that he's going to be the first president of the United States to leave office having fewer jobs in his administration than when he became president. Fewer jobs than when he became president. First one in American history. Second one, the people who have lost their jobs are those people
he wants to fucking kill him.
Those people who have
well, it's Trump, so that's the face of I want to sue you.
People who've been putting themselves in a way to make sure that we could all try to make
I really want the gif of Biden going.
He is insisting that we go forward and open when you have almost half the states in America with a significant increase in COVID deaths and COVID cases in the United States of America. And he wants to open it up more. Why does he want to open it up? Why doesn't he take care of the American? You can't fix the economy until you fix the COVID crisis. And he has no intention of doing anything about making it better for you all at home in terms of your health and your safety. Schools. Why aren't schools open? Because it costs a lot of money to open them safely. You know, they were going to give, his administration was going to give the teachers and school students masks. And then they decided, no, couldn't do that because it's not a national emergency. Not a national emergency. They've done nothing to help small businesses. Nothing. They're closing. 1 in 6 is now gone. He ought to get on the job and take care of the needs.
He used to hit him on like his contacts and friends that were beneficiaries of. Oh, I know, but like, point out the corruption.
People want their schools. No, people want their schools. They don't want to be shut down. They don't want their state shut down. They want their restaurants. I look at New York. It's so sad what's happening in New York. It's almost like a ghost town, and I'm not sure it can ever recover what they've done in New York. People want their
they're already recovering in New York.
They want to get back to their lives. They'll be careful, but they want their
and it's already partially opened. What the fuck is he talking about?
By the way, I brought back
I'm the one who brought back football.
It was me, and I'm very happy to do it. All right, people of Ohio, I'm very proud of me.
We're going to get to your economic plans going forward in a moment, but first, Mr. President, as you well know,
Ben Shapiro tweeted, "For the love of God, go to commercial and then stay there, please."
Your first year as president, that you paid $750 a year in federal income tax each of those years.
Hell yeah.
I know that you pay a lot of other taxes, but I'm asking you the specific question. Is it true that you paid $750 in federal income
He's asking him to confirm it on television.
I paid millions of dollars in taxes, millions of dollars.
He dodged it.
Income tax. And let me just tell you,
$millions in income tax?
One of the papers, I paid $38 million 1 year. I paid $27 million.
Show us your tax return.
I went. You'll see it as soon as it's finished. You'll see it. You know, if you want to do, go to the Board of Elections. There's a 118-page or so report. that says everything I have, every bank I have, I'm totally under leveraged because the assets are extremely
under
good,
leveraged? He has $500 million in debt. Are you kidding me?
Let me tell you.
I understand all of that. I understand all of that. No, Mr. President. I'm asking you a question.
They're both fucking beating up on him, and he's taking it, dude.
In 2016 and 2017.
Millions of dollars.
You paid millions of dollars?
Millions of dollars.
So
yes.
not 750.
Millions of dollars, and you'll get to see it. And you'll get to see it. But let me just tell you. Let me just tell you something. It was the tax source.
He said inshallah. Like in heaven.
Like every other private person, unless they're stupid, they go through the laws, and that's what it is. He passed a tax bill that gave us all these privileges for depreciation and for tax credits. We built the building and we get tax credits like the hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue. You get a massive, which, by the way, was given to me by the Obama administration, if you can believe that.
I mean, he's not wrong, but like also...
Yeah, I do want to respond.
The funniest thanks Obama ever.
Made him, put him in a position that he pays less tax than a school teacher make on the money a school teacher makes.
Biden paid $1 million in taxes in the same year. You should say that. No, like a literal million.
I kind of don't like that he does because he's trying to be a bigger person. I appreciate
eliminate those taxes and make sure that we invest in the people who in fact need the help. People out there need help.
Dude, he's actually like speaking to Americans.
Because you weren't president.
I do like that.
Screwing things up.
You were a senator.
You're the worst president America has ever had.
Hey, Joe, let me just tell you, Joe. I've done more in 47 months. I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe. We've done things that you never even thought of doing, including fixing the broken military that you gave me, including taking care of your vets.
Mr. President, we're talking about the economy. I'd like to ask you about your plans going forward, because, Mr. Vice President, your economic plan, if you were to be elected president, focuses a lot on big government.
Trump's feelings were hurt when Biden said he's the worst president America has ever had.
You propose more than $4 trillion over a decade.
Vouch just tweeted blood for the blood god.
Making more than $400,000 a year, and on corporations. President Trump says that kind of an increase in taxes is going to hurt the economy.
God, man, this is wild.
Just take a look at what is the analysis done by Wall Street firms. Points out that my economic plan would create 7 million more jobs than his in 4 years, number one. And number two, it would create an additional $1 trillion in economic growth, because it would be about buying America. That we're going to make this federal government spend $600 billion a year on everything from ships to steel to buildings and the like. And under my proposal, we're going to make sure that every penny of that has to be made by a company.
But respectfully, sir, I'm talking about taxes, not spending.
Well, by the way, I'm going to eliminate a significant number of the tax. I'm going to make the corporate tax 28%. It shouldn't be 21%. You have 91 companies, in the Fortune 500, who don't pay a single penny in tax, making billions of dollars.
It's okay, he recovered.
Because
you, in fact, passed that. That was your tax proposal.
I got it done, and you know what happened?
Yeah, you got it done.
Yeah, you got it done.
The economy is busted. Let me finish.
The economy's busted. Yes, Joe.
Would continue your free market approach, lower taxes, more deregulation, correct?
Not lower taxes of American people.
But in Obama's
good dig.
It turns out that in Obama's final 3 years as president, more jobs were created, 1.5 million more jobs than in the first 3 years of your presidency.
They had the slowest recovery since economic recovery since 1929. It was the slowest recovery. Also, they took over something that was down here. All you had to do is turn on the lights and you pick up a lot. But they had the slowest economic recovery since 1929. Let me tell you about the stock market. When the stock market goes up, that means
since
jobs.
the other time the economy crashed completely.
If you want to be president with your idea, if you want to terminate my taxes,
it was the lowest since the other time it crashed.
Poured in here will leave. Plenty of companies that are already here, they'll leave for other places. They will leave, and you will have a depression the likes of which you've never seen.
Look, we inherited the worst recession short of a depression in American history. I was asked to bring it back. We were able to have an economic recovery that created the jobs you're talking about. We handed him a booming economy. He blew it.
It wasn't
He blew it.
booming.
Someone just tweeted Joe Biden's on the other side of sexual assault. Finally.
Is it fair to say he blew it when, in fact, when there was record low unemployment before COVID?
Yeah, but because what he did, even before COVID, manufacturing went in the hole. Manufacturing went in the hole.
Excuse me.
It's true. Manufacturing lost jobs.
They said it would take. No, you were number 2.
No.
Chris.
They
said it would take to bring back manufacturing. I brought back 700,000 jobs.
He called him. He said number 2. He goes, no, you're number 2.
I'm the guy that brought back the automobile. We brought back. I was asked to bring back Chrysler and General Motors. We brought them back right here in the state of Ohio and Michigan. He blew it. They're gone. He blew it. And in fact, they're going.
Ohio had the best year it's ever had last year. Michigan had the best year they've ever had.
That is not true.
They should have agreed to terms that involve cutting mics.
Went to Michigan, went to Ohio.
They're not having.
And they didn't come in.
Maybe on the next one.
And so.
God, I fucking hope so.
There's gonna be more of these, dude.
There's like 6 more.
Trade deals are the same way. He talks about these great trade deals.
Oh
He talks
God.
about the art of the deal. China's
This is
made
the last
art of the
treat
steal. We
of
have a
America
higher deficit
before
with
we
China now
are
than
dead.
we
This is
did
our death
before.
rattle.
We have the highest trade deficit
China
with
ate
Mexico.
your lunch.
And
China ate your lunch, Joe. And no wonder your son
Terrible.
goes in and he takes out. He takes out.
This is like an episode of
Takes out
WWE.
millions of dollars to manage. He makes millions of dollars. And also, while we're at it,
But the
why is it,
contestants
just out of curiosity,
are
the mayor of Moscow's wife
sundowning
$3
old
million.
men.
What did he do to deserve it?
The mayor
What
must
did he
be
do
boys.
with Barista
None
to
of that
deserve $183,000?
None of that is true. None of that is true. It's
Oh, really? He
totally,
didn't
No,
get
hey, Mr. President.
It's
Mr.
totally,
President, please.
totally
Ask the question.
discredited. Totally discredited. And by the way,
Well, wait, he didn't get
No, no.
$3.5 million, Joe?
Mr. Vice
He got
Mr.
$3.5
President.
million.
that is not true.
Oh, really?
Mr.
Oh,
President,
but,
it's an open discussion, please.
No,
It's
a fact.
Well,
It
you
is
have
not.
raised an issue. Let the
been
Vice
totally
President answer.
He just said it wasn't a fact. Chris Wallace just said it wasn't a fact.
With no experience in energy.
Has it been
Mr.
Look,
President,
my
No.
son did nothing wrong at Burisma.
I think he did.
Mr. President,
guy that
let
did
him
something-
answer.
He doesn't want to let me answer because he knows I have the truth.
I think he got that from
His
China,
position has been totally,
actually.
thoroughly discredited.
By who?
in
The
Ukraine.
media.
By everybody. Well, by the
By the
media,
media,
by our
because they refuse to
allies, by
talk
the
about it
World
because they're
Bank,
embarrassed.
by everyone has discredited. Matter of fact, even
Mr.
the people
President,
who
please stop.
testified under oath.
So let me ask you
He needs to
this.
point out his
Go
kids
ahead,
in
listen to
the
you.
administration
You got $3.5 million.
and the amount of money that Ivanka
Testified
has made,
under oath in his
that his
administration
Donald
said,
Trump Jr. has
I
made.
did my job and I did it very well. I did it
I'd like to know
honorably.
who they are.
Well, I'll give you the list of the
fire
people who
them.
testified.
No, go ahead, sir.
Sure, you've already fired most of them because they did a
Some
good
because
job.
Some people don't
Well,
do a good
here's
job.
the,
With you,
Go
they
ahead.
say-
You got
here's
the,
the
wait a minute.
What
You got the
was that
final word.
exchange?
well, it's hard to get any word in with this clown. Excuse me, this.
Hey, let me just tell you.
This
No, no, no.
person.
Mr. President, Mr. President.
That is simply.
Why did
not
he
true.
deserve $3.5 million from Moscow?
Look, here's the deal. We want to talk about families and ethics. I don't want to do that. I mean, his family we could talk about all night.
Yes!
His family's already
Yes!
My family
Dunk on him!
fortune by coming down and helping us with
Go ahead,
government.
sir.
And that's such a.
They're right
Go
here.
ahead, Mr.
That's
President.
such
Every
a great.
single one of them lost
This
a
is not
fortune.
about
President.
my family or his
helping us with
family. It's
government.
about your family.
They
The
didn't
American
pay
people.
$3.5 million.
He doesn't. That's not
He
true.
backed out on
Doesn't
it.
Want to talk about what you need. You, the American people.
He backed out
It's
and
about
pivoted to the
you.
American
That's
people.
what we're
Interesting.
talking about
You
here.
should
All right,
Not
that's the end of the segment. We're moving on.
It didn't take that.
Vice President, no.
Can I be honest? It's a very important
Try to be
question.
honest.
No,
He
I
stood
didn't.
up.
No,
He stood up
the answer to
and
the
he
question is no.
Ukraine.
No, sir.
With $1 billion, if you
That
don't get rid of
is
the
you know what, you're-
absolutely
wait,
not
stop.
true.
You're
What?
going to
Not
have,
true.
gentlemen.
Oh, America's
I hate to raise my
fucked.
voice, but I see it seems to be.
We're
Why
done.
should I be different than the two of you? So here's the deal.
Good point.
We have 6 segments.
America's
We have ended
over.
that segment. We're going to go to the next segment. In that segment, you each are going to have 2 uninterrupted moments. In those 2 uninterrupted minutes, Mr. President, you can say anything you want.
Chris
I'm gonna
Wallace
ask
is
a question about
lecturing
race,
the
but If
president.
you want to answer about something else, go ahead. But
Chris Wallace.
I think
He's
we're
talking
against
to him like a
that.
child.
Better served if we allowed
No, he's
both
talking to
people
like
to speak
Hitler.
with fewer interruptions.
we just get Chris
I mean, like if Hitler was yelling at somebody, trying to argue over something.
Wait, is Chris Wallace running for president?
Well, less than you
I'm
have.
voting for
Let's
Chris Wallace.
please
I'm
continue
writing in
on.
Chris Wallace.
The issue of race.
Tell your
Vice
friends.
President Biden, you say that President
Oh,
Trump
God damn it, dude.
to the violence in Charlottesville 3 years ago when he talked about very fine people on both sides.
Oh, here we go,
is what
moving into
directly
Antifa.
led you to launch this run for president. President
Oh, yeah,
Trump,
sure.
you have often said that you believe you have done more for black Americans than any president, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln. My question for the two of you is why should voters trust you rather than your opponents to deal with the race issues facing this country over the next 4 years?
Possible.
Vice President Biden, you go
Okay, this
first.
is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Nice turn. Nice
Equity,
turn.
This is what
inequality,
people
it's
care about.
Decency. It's about the Constitution. And we have never walked away from trying to require equity for everyone, equality for the whole of America. But we've never accomplished it. But we've never walked away from it like he has done. It is true. The reason I got in the race is when those people, close your eyes, remember what those people looked like coming out of the fields carrying torches, their veins
That was
bulging,
his original stated
spewing,
reason.
and just spewing anti-Semitic bile, and accompanied by the Ku Klux Klan. A young woman got killed. And they asked the president what he thought. He said there were very fine people on both sides.
Dude, fuck yeah,
no
Biden. Get him.
presidents ever said anything
That was
like
a good
that.
one.
It is who's
Now,
who's
second,
in it, sir?
second point I make is that when Floyd was killed, when Mr. Floyd was killed,
Mr.
there was a
Floyd, dude, I
peaceful
love it.
protest in front of the White House. What did he do? He came out of his bunker, had the military use tear gas on him so he could walk across to a church and hold up a Bible. And then what happened after that? The bishop of that very church said that it was a disgrace. The general who was with him
Zach
said
Fox
he
just
only
tweeted,
ever
"Oh,
wants
they
to
on
do
the
is divide
inward
people,
question
not
now,
unite
huh?"
people at all. This is a president who has used everything as a dog whistle to try to generate racist hatred, racist division. This is a man.
He's
who,
pointing
in fact,
out that he uses
talked
dog
about helping
whistles?
African
Hell yeah,
Americans.
dog.
1 in
Yo,
1,000
dog whistle
African
for that
Americans
online
has been
crowd, bro.
killed because of the coronavirus. And if he doesn't do something quickly, by the end of the year, 1 in 500 will have been killed. 1 in 500 African Americans. This man is the savior of African Americans. This man cares at all. This man's done virtually nothing.
Dude, hell
Look,
yeah.
The fact is that you have to look at what he talks about. You have to look at what he did. And what he did has been disastrous for the African American community.
So, President Trump, you have 2 minutes. Why should
He's gonna talk about the crime bill.
Americans
Go.
trust you over your opponent to deal with racism?
Did a crime bill in 1994 where you call them super predators, African Americans, the super predators, and they've never forgotten it. They've never forgotten it, Jefferson.
No, sir, it's his 2 minutes.
So you did that, and
That's
they called
actually
you a
Hillary
super
Clinton.
predator, and I'm letting
He-
people out
he
of
was the
jail
author
now
of the
that
bill.
You have treated
He-
the African
He's the author
American
of it?
Yeah, of the crime bill?
population
Yeah, that's
community,
Joe.
you
I just
treated
remember
the
Hillary
black
Clinton
community
said it. I just
about
seen
as
a video
bad
or
as
something.
anybody
Yeah, but she
in
was
this country. You
repeating
did the
rhetoric
1990 and that's
from
why,
him.
if you look at the polls, I'm doing better than any Republican has done.
Well,
in a
he said it
long
on the
time
floor of the Senate when he
because
was
they saw
arguing
what you
for the
did.
crime bill.
You call them super
said some bad
predators,
things.
and you've called them worse than that. Because you look back at your testimony over the years, you've called them a lot worse than that. As far as the church is concerned, and as far as the generals are concerned, we just got the support of 200.
That Black Death Ray moment,
250 military
I think
leaders
might
and
be like
generals.
the deciding,
Total
like,
support. Law enforcement,
big moment of the
almost
debate.
Every law enforcement group
Not
in the
for-
United States. I have Florida. I have Texas.
That's gonna get the most
I
airtime.
have Ohio. I have Portland.
might
The
get a lot of
sheriff just came out today and he said, I support President Trump. I don't think you have any law enforcement. You can't even say the word law enforcement because if you say those words, you're going to lose all of your radical left supporters. And why aren't you saying those words, Joe? Why don't you
He
say the
said
words
them a
law
lot.
enforcement? Because you know what?
And they
If
criticize
called
him
us
about
in
it.
Portland, we
he
would
says
put
right
out
here,
that
though.
fire in a half an hour, but they won't do it because they're run by radical left Democrats. If you look at Chicago, if you look at any place you want to look, Seattle, they heard we were coming in the following day and they put up their hands and we got back Seattle.
No, they didn't.
Minneapolis, we got it back, Joe, because we believe in law and order, but you
Well,
don't.
the news
The
reported
top
that
10
the
cities
lady
and
did
just
accept
about the
this
top
is going out
40
in news
cities
articles,
are run by
whatever
Democrats
Fox News
and in many
said.
cases radical left, and they've got you wrapped around their finger, Joe, to a point where you don't want to say anything about law and order. And I'll tell you what, the people of this country want and demand law and order, and you're afraid to even say it.
All right. I want to return to the question
He's
of race.
afraid to even say
Vice
it.
President Biden, after the grand jury in the Breonna Taylor case decided not to charge any of the police with homicide, you said it raises the question, quote, whether justice could be equally applied in America. Do you believe that there is a separate but unequal system of justice for blacks in this country?
Yes, there is. There's systemic injustice in this country, in education, in work, and in law enforcement, and the way in which it's enforced. But look, the vast majority of police officers are good, decent, honorable men and women. They risk their lives every day to take care of us. But there are some bad apples. When they occur, when they find them, they have to be sorted out. They have to be held accountable. They have to be held accountable. And what I'm going to do as President of the United States is call together an entire group of people at the White House. Well, everything from the civil rights group,
He should have said, like, if the bad apples are
and we're
allowed to
gonna work this
remain,
out.
they will
We're
spoil
gonna
the
work
bunch or
this
something.
out.
At
So
least
we
acknowledge
change
it.
the way in which we have more transparency in when these things happen. These cops aren't happy to see what happened to George Floyd. These cops aren't
Dad's
happy
not.
to see what happened to
He
Breonna
needs to
Taylor.
signal this way.
Most don't like it, but we have to have a system where people are held accountable. And by the way, violence in response is never appropriate.
Thank you. Yes.
Peaceful protest is. Violence is never appropriate.
What is peaceful protest? When they run through the middle of the town and burn down your stores and kill people all over the place?
That's a very good point, though. Like, violence isn't the response
I'd like to
to people
continue the
protesting
issue of race.
violence.
I promise we're going to get to the issue of law and order in a moment. This month, your administration directed federal agencies to end racial sensitivity training that addresses white privilege or critical race theory. Why did you decide to do that, to end racial
Trump has no
sensitivity
idea
training?
what
And
critical
do
race
you
theory
believe
is.
that there is systemic racism in this country, sir?
I ended it
Not
because it's
actually, he's just
racist.
gonna
I
signal
ended it
something.
because a lot of people were
Yeah.
complaining that
His
they were
supporters don't
asked to
either.
do things that were absolutely insane, that it was a radical revolution that was taking place in our military, in
I'm
our
on the record saying
schools,
I don't love
all
critical
over
race
the
theory,
place,
though.
and you
Yeah,
know
but
it, and
what
so
he's
does
talking
everybody
about
else.
is not
And
critical
you-
race
What is
theory.
the
It's totally
about
racist.
racial sensitivity training?
Racial
You were
sensitivity
a
training
certain person.
is not
You had no
critical race
status
theory.
in
Well, the racial
It was sort of a
sensitivity theory
reversal.
say like that
And
every
you
white
look at the
person's
people,
racist.
we would pay
No, that's not what
hundreds of
racial
thousands
have you
of
ever been
dollars
through it
to
at
teach
work?
Very bad
That's not what they
ideas,
say.
and
No, but
frankly,
I've
very
seen-
sick
I've
ideas.
seen it all over the
And
internet. I'm
really,
part of that
they were teaching
my foot
people
is
to
in that
hate
part
our
of the internet.
country.
It's like
And I'm not going to do that. I'm not
I
going to
know,
allow that to
but
happen.
that's not what critical race theory
Goes
is.
back to the core values of this country. They were
I know,
teaching
but
people
that's
our
not
country
it,
is a
though. That's not
horrible
what he's
place, it's a
describing.
racist place,
Even if you
and
don't
they
like
were
critical
teaching
race
people
theory,
to hate
He's not
our
even
country.
It's
talking
not
about.
that.
He's not
And
talking
I'm
about the
not gonna allow that
specifics
to
or the
happen.
Vice
ideals
President
of
Biden.
critical race theory.
Nobody's done that. He's just
Thank
he's
you.
a racist. Here's the deal. I
He
know
called
a
him
lot
a
more
racist!
about that.
Let him finish.
Yes!
The fact is that there is racial insensitivity. People have to be made aware.
Yes!
What other people
That's the whole
feel.
thing.
What
It's not
insults
like
them,
saying
what
white
is
people are bad.
demeaning to
It's
them.
literally
It's
just
important that people know. They don't
teaching
know.
you how to, like,
When you
address
teach- when you
things.
teach a generation of people that no
It's
matter
amazing.
what,
It makes a
you're
big
a white.
difference.
Every
It
space
makes a
you're in,
gigantic difference
everything
in the
you
way a
ever
child
do is
is able
racist
to
and
grow up
hurts
and have
black
a
people.
self-
No one does that.
self-esteem. It's a little
No,
bit
Robbie
like how
D'Angelo,
this
the
guy
white fragility,
and his
who
friends
teaches a
look
lot of
down
these
on
seminars.
someone.
The white fragility
A lot of the criteria.
is just
Irish
it's
people
stupid, but that's not what it
look
is.
down on people who don't have money.
Yeah,
They look
okay.
down on people
Yes,
who
what
are
I've
of
said
a different
was touted by
faith. They
them.
look down on
Somehow
people
seems
who are a
crazy.
different color. In
not
fact,
great.
we're all Americans.
But that's not the majority of Democrats, not even the majority of, like, far-left
There's
people.
nothing we cannot do if we do it together. We can take this on and we can defeat racism
Vice
in America.
President Trump, sir.
During the
can't defeat
Obama
racism, man. We shouldn't talk
Biden
about it.
administration,
That was
there
good.
was
I like that.
tremendous division. There was
That's a
hatred. You look at Ferguson. You look at. You go to many places. Look at Oakland. Look what happened in Oakland. Look what happened in Baltimore. Look what happened. Frankly, it was more
I mean, they weren't
violent than
good.
what I'm even seeing now.
What?
But the reason is that the Democrats that run these cities
That lasted a couple of
talk like you
days.
about law and order. You still haven't mentioned this. Are you in favor of law and order?
I'm in favor of law. You follow
Are you in favor of law and order? Go ahead.
You asked a question, let him finish.
And you following it. He said, I am afraid of law, and you following it.
Treated fairly. And the fact of the matter is, violent crime went down 17%, 15% in our administration. It's gone up on his watch.
It has.
All right, we're not. Mr. President, you're going to.
I do like that he's trying to point out that, like, he's like, Joe Biden's going to be worse. He's like, no, it's gone up under you, dude.
Democratic-run cities.
That's exactly my question. There has been a dramatic increase in homicides.
Do you love law and order?
This summer, particularly, and you often blame that on Democratic mayors and Democratic governors, but in fact there have been equivalent spikes in Republican-led cities like Tulsa.
He needs to be anointed.
So the question is this really a party issue?
I think it's
Hell yeah.
You could bring in a couple of examples, but if you look at Chicago, what's going on in
Chicago,
53 people were shot.
Eat my entire butthole, Trump.
You look at New York, where it's going up like nobody's ever seen anything. The numbers
It goes up every goddamn summer.
Crime. It is crazy what's going on, and he doesn't want to say law.
Yeah, but like overall, it's down, even with the spike. I know, but even with the spike, it's lower than it was 5 years ago. It's lower than it was 10 years ago, and it's lower than it was 20 years ago. Like even with the spike,
our suburbs would be gone.
it's nowhere near where it was even 10 years ago. I mean, you can. It's a heavily like researched topic.
This is not 1950. All these dog whistle relations.
He just called that 1915, call it bullshit and a dog whistle. Hell yeah!
Driving their kids to soccer practice and or to
Dude, fuck yeah.
white and Hispanic in the same car as there have been any time in
Yeah, he called out
past.
1350.
What really is a threat to the suburbs and their safety is his failure to deal with COVID.
That's fucking awesome.
In the suburbs. His failure to deal with the environment. They're being flooded. They're being burned out because his refusal to do it. That's why the suburbs are in trouble.
I do want to talk about this issue of law and
Hell
order.
yeah.
And in the joint recommendation.
Now, to be clear, Biden's going to solve none of this, but I'm at least glad he's using the right words.
Maybe he's more accountable than
Reimagining
ever.
policing.
Maybe he's. Maybe.
First of all, what does reimagining policing mean? And do you support
I refuse to be hopeful. Trump's been the president for 4 years.
and do you
I'll believe it when I see it.
Black Lives Matter call for community control of police?
There's
What
not.
I support is the police having the opportunity to deal with the problems they face. And I'm not totally opposed to defunding the police officers. As a matter of fact, police.
I like Joe Biden.
The only one defunding it, his budget calls for a $400 million cut in local law enforcement assistance. They need more assistance. They need, when they show up for a 9/11 show, to have someone with them as a psychologist or psychiatrist to keep them from having to use force and be able to talk people down. We have to have community policing like we had before.
Oh, all of our faces went away.
I don't know. Maybe I'm a little
That's when
drunk.
crime
I'm a little
went
drunk.
down. It didn't go up, it went down. And so we have to be
All of our
He's talking about funding the police.
that is not true.
all
He
of
doesn't
our
have
faces
any
went away
law.
from the stream.
He has no law enforcement.
That's not true.
Almost
That's
nothing.
not. Look,
All right, who do you have? Name one group that supports you. Name one group that came out and supported you. Go ahead. Think. We have time.
we don't have time to do
No,
anything.
all right. Name one law enforcement group that came out and
I think,
supported
gentlemen,
you.
I think I'm going to take back the
There
moderator's
aren't. I don't
role,
think there are.
and I want to get to another subject,
cares?
which is the issue of protests in many cities that have turned violent. In Portland, Oregon, especially, we had more than 100 straight days of protests, which I think you would agree. You talk about peaceful protests. Many of those turned into riots. Mr. Vice President, you say that people who commit crimes should be held accountable.
I don't know what happened, but our
faces
faces went away.
Democratic nominee, and earlier tonight you said that you are the Democratic Party right now.
Yeah, our faces went away.
Have you ever called the Democratic mayor of Portland or the Democratic governor of Oregon and said, hey, you got to stop this, bring in the National Guard, do whatever it takes.
Do you know why, like,
days and
it just
months
suddenly
of
stopped
violence?
displaying like all the Discord stuff?
No. I am
Did you
former
hide
vice
it?
president.
Nah,
I've
they're
made it
all
clear.
on.
I made it clear in my public statements that violence should be prosecuted.
I'm gonna restart Discord. Be right back.
And anyone who commits it
But
should
you've
be
never
prosecuted.
called for the people, the leader. You have never called for the leaders in Portland and in Oregon to bring in the National Guard and knock out 100 days of law.
They can, in fact, take care of it if you just stay out of the way.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
But
I sent in the U.S. Marshals to get the killer of a young man in the middle of the street, and they shot him. And for 3 days,
President Trump
Portland wouldn't do anything. I had to send in
interrupted.
the U.S. Marshals,
President
they took
Trump,
care of business.
Go ahead, sir.
And by the way,
Gotta
you know,
change
his
the
own former
source.
spokesperson said, you know,
What?
riots and
Right,
chaos
like, can
and
change the
violence
source
help
of
us
it?
cause. That's what this is all
I
about.
don't know who said that.
I do.
Good properties.
I think Kellyanne Conway.
I don't think she said
She said that. And so here's the,
All right.
well, here's the point.
Yeah.
Go
The
ahead.
point is that that's what he is keeps trying to rile everybody up. He doesn't want to calm things down. Instead of going in and talking to people and saying, let's get everybody together, figure out how to deal with this. What's he do? He just pours gasoline in the fire constantly
And-
every single solitary
Okay,
day.
and to end this, button up this segment, I'm going to give you a minute to answer, sir. You have repeatedly criticized.
You have to answer his
No,
statement.
you have
His statement?
repeatedly.
Yeah.
You have no, you've been talking.
You
back
made
and
a
forth.
statement.
I'm asking you.
I would love to
you know,
end it.
sir.
I would love to end it.
You know, if you want to switch seats, I would love to.
Very quickly.
We can do that, but I'm.
Send
No,
in the National Guard
Just
would
to
be
point
over,
out,
there'd
there
be
are
no problem. But you don't want
1,200,000
to
people
accept the National
just
Guard.
watching
you have
this
repeatedly
live stream.
criticized the vice president for not
1,200,000.
Antifa and other left-wing extremist groups.
Not
But
ours,
are you
but like
willing
the
tonight
C-SPAN.
condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to
You're
the
right, no
violence
way.
in a number of these cities and as we've seen in Portland. Are you prepared to specifically do it? Go ahead.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see
Well,
peace.
then do it, sir.
Then do it, sir!
You want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
White
name. Go ahead.
supremacists and
Who would
white
you like me to condemn?
supremacists and white supremacists.
Stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left. Because
Stand
this
back
is
and
not a
stand
right
by.
wing problem.
Stand
This
by?
is a
You mean
left
you want him to
wing.
come back at some
This
point?
is a
Hold
left
on.
wing.
Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
do it.
I know.
He won't fucking do it.
He can't even disown the Proud Boys.
FBI directly said.
Well, then you know what?
Like-
We're done, sir. We're moving on
Out
to
of
the next
everybody, he can't disown the Proud Boys. Like 1.1, like 0.0001% of his base he can't disown.
Antifa is a dangerous
All right,
radical
gentlemen, we're now
force.
moving on to the Trump and Biden records.
They'll overthrow you.
When a president, I'm going to ask you a question. When the president seeks a second term, it is generally a referendum on his record. But Vice President Biden, you like to quote one of your dad's sayings, which is, don't compare me to the Almighty, compare me to the alternative. And in this case, sir, you are the alternative. Looking at both of your records, I'm going to ask each of you, why should voters elect you president over your opponent? In this segment, President Trump, you go first, 2 minutes.
Because there has never been an administration or president who has done more than I've done in a period of 3.5 years. And that's despite the impeachment hoax. And you saw what happened today with Hillary Clinton, where it was a whole
Dude,
big
everybody's
con
forgotten
job.
about the
But
impeachment. Him
despite
bringing
going
that up
through
is
all
so
of these
stupid.
things where I had to fight both flanks and behind me and above, there has never been an administration that's done what
He's already
I've
talking
done.
about Hillary.
The greatest before COVID
Still.
came in, the greatest economy in history.
4
the
entire
lowest
years ago.
Unemployment numbers. Everything was good. Everything was going. And by the way, there was
Doesn't
unity
fucking
going to
matter.
happen. People were calling me for the first time in years. They were calling, and they were saying it's time maybe. And then what happened? We got hit, but now we're building it back up again. A rebuilding of the military, including Space Force and all of the other things. A fixing of the VA,
Can you turn that down
which was
here?
a mess under him. 308,000
It's just
people
echoing
died because they
inside
didn't
my
have
ear.
proper health care. It was a mess. And we now got a 91% approval rating at the VA, our vets. We take care of our vets. But we've rebuilt our
Does he really
military.
have that high of an
job
approval
that
rating
we've
at the
done-
VA?
And I'll tell you something, some people say maybe the most important.
may.
By the end of the first term, I'll have approximately 300 federal judges and Court of Appeals judges, 300.
It's not a good thing.
3 great Supreme Court judges, justices.
He has like record low military approval.
Record, the likes of which very few people. And you know one of the reasons I have so many judges?
Yes, but that's not the majority of the military. I'm talking about like, as far as we know.
Judges to fill. When you
I know,
leave
but as
office,
far as
you
we
don't
know.
leave any judges. That's like you just don't do that.
Okay,
they
but
left 128
the most
openings, and if I were a member of his party,
but
because they have a
I'm not talking about San Antonio. I'm talking about the entire military. He has the lowest approval ratings of any president in history.
You can't be a good president. You can't be a good vice president. But I want to thank you because it gives us almost, it'll probably be above that number by the end of this term. 300 judges. It's a record.
Looking at both your records.
Thank you for that. Thank McConnell for that.
Elect you president as opposed to President Trump. You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Under this president, we've become weaker, sicker, poorer, more divided, and more violent. When I was vice president, we inherited a recession. I was asked to fix it. I did. We left him a booming economy.
He did.
And he caused a recession.
It was record highs when they left.
Be weaker. The fact is that I've gone head-to-head with Putin and made it clear to him we're not going to take any of his stuff. He's Putin's puppy. He still
trends from 2008,
yeah. Say anything to Putin about the bounty on the heads of American soldiers.
Your son got $3.5 million.
And by the way, my son...
Wait a minute. Mr. President, your campaign agreed that both sides would get 2-minute answers uninterrupted. Well, your side agreed to it, and why don't you observe what your campaign agreed to as a ground rule, okay, sir?
He never keeps his word. Can you add
No,
back
no,
He never keeps his word.
That was a rhetorical question.
That was so good.
Yeah, yes, you may have.
All right. So, thirdly, we're poor. Billionaires have gotten much more wealthy by a tune of over $300 to $400 billion more.
It's true.
Just since COVID. You and the whole
That's a ton of money.
You're in more trouble than you were.
And that is the working people's money.
In terms of being more violent. When we were in office, there were 15% less violence
He didn't
in America
spend it.
than there is
Half
today.
the economy got laid
He's
off.
President of the United States. It's on his watch. And with regard to more divided, the nation can't stay divided. We can't be this way. And speaking of my son, the way you talk about the military, the way you talk about them being losers.
That's an interesting way to spin it.
And just being suckers. My son was in Iraq. He spent a year there. He got the Bronze Star. He got the Conspicuous Service Medal. He was not a loser. He was a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes. Really? And I resent.
Are you talking
like
about
hell.
Hunter? Are you talking about
I'm talking about my son, Bo Biden. You're talking about.
I don't know Bo. I know Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter
you know
got
Bo.
thrown. Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. He wasn't dishonorably.
Cocaine use.
He wasn't.
And he didn't have a job until you became vice president. And once you
None
became
of that
vice
is
president,
true.
he made a fortune in Ukraine, in China, in Moscow.
I know.
Simply,
I've done cocaine.
my son.
I know.
My son.
And he didn't have a job.
Republicans moralize everything. Everything.
Yeah, you're right.
Had a drug problem. He's overtaken. He's fixed it. He's worked on
True.
it, and I'm proud of him.
Why was he
I'm proud of
given
my son.
tens of millions?
All right.
But he wasn't given tens of millions.
What a beautiful moment of acceptance.
President Trump.
That's actually really
We've
cool.
already been
Totally discredited.
Badass, man.
We've already been through this. I think the American people would rather
love
hear
that.
about more
I love that.
substantial
So do I.
subjects.
Badass.
Well, you know, as the moderator, sir, I'm going to make a
I know, but when
judgment call
somebody
here.
gets $3.5 million
Okay, right.
from the
Let's
mayor
talk
of
about-
Moscow,
let's talk
That
about-
is
I
not
think
true.
it's a
Gentlemen,
That
thing.
report is totally
Why did he get it?
discredited.
I
Mitt
think,
Romney on that committee said it wasn't worth taxpayers'
It's
money.
not.
That report. It was written for political reasons.
you know, I'd like to talk about climate change.
It's not.
So would I.
Okay. The forest fires in the West
Oh,
are
God.
raging now. They have
Forest
burned
fires.
millions of
They
acres.
should have just
They
raked
have
the leaves.
displaced hundreds of thousands of
Antifa
people.
went and put the
When state
leaves there.
officials there
Well, I
blamed
wonder
the
what
fires
policy
on climate
changes
change,
have been
Mr.
done with
President, you
control
said,
fires
I
in
don't think
places like
the
California
science
trying to
knows.
preserve
Over
and
your
not
4
have fires,
years,
like if they've not
you
been
have
doing-
pulled
I don't
the
know
U.S.
whether
out of the
it's
Paris
speculation,
Climate
I know
Accord.
that's
You have rolled back a number of
just-
Obama
because of
environmental
some policies
records.
about trying to protect
What
some
do
things.
you
I mean,
believe
the bigger
about the
issue
science
is
of climate change,
the
and what will you do in the next 4 years?
national
to confront
multi-billion-dollar oil conglomerates that poison our air.
Clean water and air. I want beautiful, clean air. We have now the lowest carbon. If you look at our numbers right now, we are doing phenomenally. But I haven't destroyed our businesses. Our businesses aren't put out of commission. If you look
Because you're
at
destroying the
Paris Accord,
EPA.
It was a disaster from our standpoint, and people are actually very happy about what's going on because our businesses are doing well. As far as the fires are concerned, you need forest management in addition to everything
Business
else.
is doing well.
The
Doesn't
forest
matter if
floors
the
are loaded
world
up with
explodes.
trees,
You
dead trees
fucking
that are
idiot.
years old and they're like tinder, and leaves and everything else. You
talked about the leaves again? Are you fucking kidding me?
What do you believe? What do you believe about the science?
What he's
of climate
saying, he's
change?
signaling to people for what I was just saying
we
about
have
like
to do
doing
everything we can
ideas
to
about
have
what I was saying. He's
immaculate
signaling
air, immaculate
some
water, and
nebulous
do
nuanced
whatever else we
idea.
can that's good.
No, he's signaling that it's the California Democrats' fault and not
No, I know, I hear you. I hear you.
global warming.
Greenhouse gas emissions contributes to the global warming of
I
the
think a
planet.
lot of things do, but I think to an extent,
I'm not on
yes.
the
I think
presidential
to an
debate
extent,
team.
yes. But I also think we have to do better management of our forests every year. I get the call.
Probably true.
California's
That's-
burning.
That's
California's
so
burning.
No,
If that was
no.
clean,
There are other
if that
countries
was
that.
not beside the point. It's not
No,
beside
it's
the point.
totally
It's
beside the
totally
point.
California may not
You
manage
wouldn't be
their
getting
forest
those
properly. They
calls.
don't.
You know, in
Before
Europe,
we
they
had
use their forest
humans in this
cities. They're
country,
called
Will,
forest cities. They maintain their forests. They manage their forests.
in the 1700s, before we, like the 1600s, before we got
It's
here,
a forest city.
half of the
He
country
said,
wasn't
"Sir,
burning
we
down
have
every year. This is
trees
a
that are
man-made
far
thing.
more- They
This is
ignite much easier than California.
half of the country is on fire right
I
now.
spoke with the governor about it. I'm getting along very well with the governor.
Okay.
But I said,
Yeah,
at some
I'll take that
point,
point. Let's talk about
you
that.
can't every year have hundreds of thousands of acres of land just burned to the ground.
But, sir,
That's burning down because of a lack of
But
management.
sir, if you believe in the science of climate change, why have you rolled back the Obama Clean Power Plan, which limited
Because Obama
carbon
did it.
emissions in power plants? Why have you relaxed?
Because it was driving energy prices through the sky.
Why have you relaxed fuel economy standards that are going to create more pollution from cars?
Well,
and
not
trucks?
really, because what's
Not
happening
really.
is the car is
He got
much
rid of it.
less expensive and it's a much safer car. And you're talking
Doesn't matter
about
if
a
it's
tiny
safer, you
difference. And then what would
goddamn
happen,
idiot.
Because of the cost of the car, you would have at
The
least
cost?
double and triple the number of cars purchased. We have the old slugs out there that are 10, 12
So that
years
it's
old.
more
If you did that,
expensive,
the
it's
car would be
better?
safer, it would be much cheaper by
But in the case of
$3,500.
California, they'd simply
No, but you
ignore
would take a
your
lot of cars
rollback.
off the market because people would be able to afford a car. Now,
He's saying it's
and
good
by the way,
people
we're gonna
can't
see how that
afford
turns
cars?
out. But a lot of people agree with me. Many people. The car has gotten so expensive because they have
What?
computers all over the place for an extra little bit of gasoline. And
That's not-
and I'm okay with electric
What?
cars too. I think I'm all for electric cars. I've given big incentives
It's
for
the
electric cars.
goddamn stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Vice President Biden, I'd like you to respond.
No,
to the president.
don't even try to decipher what that man was just saying. He says computers bad, car costs more good.
Jobs, you talk about new limits, not abolishing, but
They all have these electrical doodads.
ending the use of fossil fuels to generate electricity by 2035 and zero net emissions.
No, he's saying
greenhouse
less
gases
people
by
buying cars
2050.
is good for the
President
environment.
says a lot of these things
Somehow?
will tank the economy and cost millions of dollars.
He's absolutely wrong, number one. Number two.
But he wants the cars to be less fuel efficient. It doesn't make any sense.
Administration and Recovery Act, I was able to bring down the cost of renewable energy to cheaper than or as cheap as coal and gas and oil.
It's true.
Nobody's going to build another coal-fired plant in America. No one's going to build another oil-fired plant in America. They're going to move to
Also
renewable
true.
energy, number one. Number two, we're going to make sure that we are able to take...
No
the
one wants a fucking
federal fleet
coal
and
plant
turn it
outside
into a
their
fleet
city.
that's run on their electric vehicles. Making sure that we can do that, we're going to put 500,000 charging stations and all of the highways that we're going to be building in the future.
That's
we're
rad.
We're going to build an economy that, in fact, is going to provide for the ability us to take 4 million buildings and make sure that they, in fact, are weatherized in a way that, in fact, they'll emit significantly less gas and oil because the heat will not be going out. There's so many things that we can do
Oh,
now
no, Biden,
to
get
create
back on track.
thousands
Come on.
and thousands of jobs. We can get to net zero in terms of energy production by 2035. Not only not costing people jobs, creating jobs, creating millions of good paying jobs, not $15 an hour, but prevailing wage, by having a new infrastructure that in fact is green. And the first thing I will do, I will rejoin the Paris Accord. I will join the Paris Accord because with us out of it, look what's happening. It's all falling apart. And talk about someone who has
It's true, 'cause we helped put it together.
with foreign policy. Brazil, the rainforests of Brazil are being torn down, are being ripped down. More carbon is absorbed in that rainforest than every bit of carbon that's emitted in the United States. Instead of doing something about that, I would be gathering up and making sure we had the countries of the world coming up with $20 billion and say, here's $20 billion. Stop tearing down the forest. And if you don't, then you're going to have significant economic consequences.
What about the argument that President Trump basically says that you have to balance environmental interests and economic interests, and he's drawn his line?
Well, he hadn't drawn a line. He still, for example, makes sure that he wants to make sure that methane's not a problem. You can now emit more methane without it being a problem. Methane. This is a guy who says that you don't have to have mileage standards for automobiles that exist.
I'm voting on tie.
This is the guy who says that.
He's not wearing his traditional power tie, dude.
It's all true. And here's the deal.
Talking about the Green New Deal, and it's not $2 billion or $20 billion, as you said. It's $100 trillion.
I'm talking about
where they want to rip down
$100 trillion?
No,
it's the dumbest, most ridiculous.
It costs $7 trillion or $8 trillion or whatever. It's not.
Where two-car systems are out. Where they want to take out the cows, too. That's not true.
Want to take out the cows?
This is a
deliberate misunderstanding of what it is.
Than our country could make in 100 years if we're
not the case.
All right, let me because I actually wait a minute, sir. I actually have studied your plan, and it includes upgrading 4 million buildings, weatherizing 2 million homes over 4 years,
I'll be right back.
building 1.5 million energy-efficient homes. So the question becomes, the president is saying, some people who support the president would say that sounds like it's going to cost a lot of money and hurt the economy.
What it's going to do is going to create thousands and millions of jobs, good-paying jobs.
Let him finish, sir.
He doesn't know. The fact is, it's going to create millions of good-paying jobs, and these tax incentives for people to weatherize, which he wants to get rid of. It's going to make the economy much safer. Look how much we're paying now to deal with the hurricanes. To deal with, by the way, he has an answer for hurricanes. He said maybe we should drop a nuclear weapon on them.
I never said that.
He did say
made it up.
And here's the deal. We are going to be in a position where we can create hard, good jobs by making sure the environment is clean and we all are in better shape. We spend billions of dollars on floods, hurricanes, rising seas. We're in real trouble. Look what's happening just in the Midwest with these storms that come through and wipe out entire sections and counties in Iowa. That didn't happen before, but because of global warming, we make up 15% of the world's problem. We, in fact, but
I think it's actually 20.
Well, we got to get them to come along. That's why we have to get back into
He's probably just talking about domestic.
So why didn't he do it for 47 years? You were vice president. Why didn't you get the
we
world?
commit
China
like 20% of the world's pollution.
Russia does, India does,
I think he's just including like our domestic output. No, it's true. I mean, China does like 30, but still.
Well, that is not my plan.
That's
Green
Well, like our large corporations do the majority of it.
Gentlemen,
he made a statement about the military. He said I said something about the military. He and his friends made it up,
American corporations, they have to get their product from somewhere.
What he did is he said
it's tangentially their factories, but that's not included.
He said stupid bastards. He said it.
Stop.
I would never say that.
Play it.
Go ahead. Mr. Vice President answered his final question.
The final question is, I can't remember which of all his rants.
I'm having a little trouble myself. and about the economy and about this question.
Yo, we should get a drink after this.
The economy.
Joe's been roughing you me after this.
Let's get out of here. What do you say?
For itself.
Joe, let's go get a hotel room. Really tear into each other.
Great polluting planet. You're going to build a Green New Deal? Pardon me?
You support?
No, I don't support the Green New Deal.
You don't? Oh, well, that's a big
statement.
I support
the radical left.
I support the Biden plan that I put forward.
Okay.
The Biden plan, which is different than what he calls the radical Green New Deal.
All right, gentlemen, final segment.
That would have been a slam dunk for Biden because the majority of Americans support the Green New Deal.
Millions of Americans are
he should have been
mail-in
like, I support
ballots
the
or
New Green
going
Deal
to
and the
vote early.
Biden plan.
How confident should
Like,
we
if you support
be
the Green New
that
Deal,
this
you
will
should
be
support the
a fair
Biden plan. It's
election,
basically the
and
same
why
thing,
are
or
we
whatever.
prepared
I know, I agree with you.
over the next 5+ weeks, because it'll not only be to Election Day, but also counting some ballots, mail-in ballots after Election Day. What are you prepared to do to reassure the American people that the next president will be the legitimate winner of this election? In this final segment, Mr. Vice President, you go first.
Prepared to let people vote. They should go to iwillvote.com. Decide how they're going to vote, when they're going to vote, and what means by which they're going to vote. His own Homeland Security Director, and as well as the FBI Director, says there is no evidence at all that mail-in ballots are a source of being manipulated and cheating. They said that. The fact is that there are
And it's true historically
because of COVID that are going to be voting by mail-in ballots, like he does, by the way. He sits behind the resident desk and sends his ballot to Florida.
He did that.
Number two, we're going to make sure that those people who want to vote in person,
I know, it's so hilarious. Yeah, he did.
Mail this vote.
Make sure
Yeah.
they're socially distanced. The polls are open on time, and the polls stay open until the votes are counted. And this is all
He did like a
about
month
trying
ago.
to dissuade people from voting because he's trying to
Rich people money
to
is
scare people
different.
into thinking
That's
that it's not going to
true.
be legitimate. Show up. And
He's trying to
vote.
dissuade people from
You
voting
will
because he's trying
determine
to
the
make
outcome
it
of this
seem
election.
illegitimate. That's like his entire
Vote,
strategy.
vote. If you're able to vote early in your state, vote early.
Oh, no,
If
that's
you're able to
what Biden said.
in person, vote in person. Vote whatever way is the best way for you, because he cannot stop you from being able to determine the outcome of this election. And in terms of whether or not when the votes are counted, and they're all counted, if we get the votes, it's going to be all over. He's going to go. He can't
It's
stand
true.
power. It won't happen. It won't happen. So vote. Just make sure you understand you have it in your control to determine what this country's going to look like the next 4 years. Is it going to change? Or you get 4 more years? of
He's
these
ending on the call to action.
Mr. President, 2 minutes.
That's what you're supposed to do.
When I listened to Joe talking about a transition, there's been no transition from when I won. I won that election. And if you look at crooked Hillary Clinton, if you look at all of the different people, there was no transition because they came after me trying to do a coup. They came after me spying on my campaign.
No, you
They started
coup!
from the day I won and even before I won. From the day I came down the
No,
escalator
you!
with our First Lady. They were a disaster. They were a disgrace to our country. And we've caught them. We've caught them all. We've got it all on tape. We've caught them all. And by the way, you gave the idea for the Logan Act against General Flynn. You better take a look at that because we caught you in a sense. And
Even
President
General
Obama
Flynn's
was sitting in
lawyer
the office. He knew
yesterday
about it too, so don't tell me
said
about a
she
free
was begging
transition.
Trump not to pardon
As
him.
far as the ballots are concerned, it's a disaster. A solicited ballot, okay, solicited is okay. You're soliciting, you're asking, they send it back, you send it back.
That's
I
all
did
they do.
that.
They don't just
If
send
you
them
have
out.
An unsolicited, they're sending millions of ballots all over the
No,
country.
they're not.
There's fraud. They found them in creeks. They found some with the name Trump. Just happened to have the name Trump just the other day in a waste paper basket. They're being sent all over the place.
What?
They sent 2 in a Democrat
was a
area. They sent out
piece of
1,000
paper in a
ballots. Everybody
basket.
got 2 ballots.
Send my name on
This
it.
is going to be a fraud like you've never seen. The other
Which will
thing,
lead me to
it's
believe-
nice on November 3rd, you're watching and you see who won the election. And I
Hey,
think
Zach,
we're going to do well
still
because
there.
people are
Yeah,
really
he's still here.
happy
He's still
with the
hanging.
job we've done. But you know what?
Zach's
we
a
won't
great
know.
guy.
We might not know for
He wrote a
months
book, a
because
poetry
these
book.
ballots are going to be all over.
Cool.
Take a look at what happened
Yeah,
in
really
Manhattan.
cool.
Take a look
We'll
at
talk
what
about it
happened in New Jersey. Take a look at what happened in Virginia and other places. They're not losing 2%, 1%, which, by the way, is too much. An election could be won or lost with that. They're losing 30 and 40%. It's a fraud, and it's a shame. And can you imagine where they say,
Yeah, but they're-
you have to have your ballot
I really
in by
wish Biden would
November
point
10th.
out.
November 10th. That means that's 7 days after the election, in theory, should have been announced.
Okay.
We have major states with that.
Sir,
All run by
2 minutes
Democrats.
is 2 minutes.
All run by
You're-
Democrats. It's
President
a,
Trump,
it's a race a little bit later.
you're going to be able to continue.
Because he's insinuating the more time it
for
takes,
months
the
that
greater
mail-in
likelihood
balloting
that it's
is gonna be
rigged.
a disaster.
Doubling
you say
down on
it's rigged,
November
that it's
3rd.
going to lead to fraud.
Yeah,
In 2018,
I've noticed
in the
that,
last midterm election,
the past, like,
31
couple
million
weeks,
people voted.
they just
mail-in
repeat.
voted.
31 million people
That was a
voted
quarter,
mail-in
more
vote.
than a quarter of all the
There's like
voters
7
out here
states
cast their
that
ballots
only do
by mail.
mail-in voting.
Now that millions of mail-in ballots have gone out, what are you going to do about it? And are you counting on the Supreme Court, including a Justice Barrett, to settle any dispute?
Yeah, I think I'm counting on them to look at the ballots, definitely. I don't think we'll, I hope we don't
Never
need
made
them
that line.
in terms of the election itself.
Wow.
But for the ballots, I think so. because what's happening is incredible.
I think he just gave like the Senate Democrats an out.
1% of the ballots for 2016 were
question.
He gave him an out. Like, the Democrats can now point to this and say, we have to block it.
Millions of ballots going out.
What you do is you go and vote. You do a solicited ballot, and that's okay.
Not even a strategy. He gave like a moral reason for the Democrats to say we can't do it because he just said this.
You either do, Chris, a solicited ballot where you're sending it in, and sending it back, and you're sending. They have mailmen with lots of it. Did you see what's going on? Take a look at West Virginia. Mailmen selling the ballots.
A mailman selling the ballots?
This is a horrible thing for our country.
What is he talking about?
This
He's
is
just
not
making
going
things
to
up.
end well.
I know, but like he's talking about like past elections and stuff. Like,
decade or more.
Oh, no, I'm just talking about this year. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird things.
Oh, it's gonna be weird. It's not even weird because it wasn't funded.
It's sent to your home. What we're saying is,
oh, he's educating you as the process.
By election day. If it doesn't get in till the 7th, 8th, 9th, it still should be counted.
Very good.
He's just afraid of counting the votes.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
No, I want to continue.
I love counting the votes.
President Biden.
Chris, he's so wrong when he makes a statement.
I love counting the votes.
Vice President Biden, the biggest problem, in fact, over the years with mail-in voting has not been fraud historically. It has been that sizable numbers, sometimes hundreds of thousands of ballots are thrown out because they have not been properly filled out, or there is some other irregularity, or they missed the deadline. So the question I have is, are you concerned that the Supreme Court with a Justice Barrett will settle any dispute?
I'm concerned that any court would settle this because here's the deal. When you get a ballot and you fill it out, you're supposed to have an affidavit. If you didn't know, you have someone say that this is me. You should be able to, if in fact you can verify that's you before the ballot is thrown out, that's sufficient to be able to count the ballot.
You have, I think it's like 2 weeks.
And not dotting the correct I.
Who's able to testify?
It's good. No, he's like literally just explaining how voting actually works.
Yeah, that's fine. When you have 80 million ballots sending and swamping the system, you know it can't be done. You know it can't, and already
surprisingly
good. Mail service delivers 185 million
question is, in 8 states, we can kill in 8
honestly,
states,
though, this is stamina like I've never seen.
Currently by law, 8 states. From even
also,
beginning to process.
The non-commercial interrupted debate is like soup for my soul.
Until election day. That means that it's likely because there's going to be a huge increase in mail-in.
I don't think I took the note from Joe Rogan because this was decided weeks ago, but I agree it's a good idea.
I'm saying like the general idea
until we find out who the new president is.
No, this is just what debates used to be before we commercialized them.
For the vice president, I hope neither of you will interrupt the other.
Yeah, but they did that.
Will you urge your supporters to stay calm
to pay for
during
it?
this extended
Think about
period,
that.
not to engage in any civil unrest? And will you pledge tonight that you will not declare victory until the election has been independently certified?
Wow, he's really trying to get them to.
my supporters to go into the polls and watch very carefully, because that's what has to happen. I am urging them to do it. As you know, today there was a big problem. In Philadelphia, they went in to watch. They're called poll watchers, a very safe, very nice thing.
He's encouraging
they weren't allowed
harassment
to
at the polls. He's encouraging voter suppression right now on television.
Bad things. And I am urging
that should be impeachable.
I am urging my people. I hope it's going to be a fair election. If it's a fair election, I am 100%.
In a just world, it would
be.
be.
But if I see tens of thousands of ballots being manipulated, I can't go along with that. And I'll tell you what, from a common sense, I'll tell you what,
clear intent.
It means you have a fraudulent election.
You have to be stupid to not see what that is.
They're not equipped to. These people aren't equipped to handle it. Number one. Number two, they cheat.
I wonder why. Maybe we should have given them more money a few weeks ago, months ago.
Waste paper basket 3 days ago, and they all had the name.
I know, that's the problem.
They were military. They all had the name Trump on them. You think that's good?
Biden says vote. He says go watch people vote. Go make sure they're voting right.
That's so gross.
The vote is counted, and will you pledge not to declare victory until the election is independently certified?
Yes. Here's the deal. We count the ballots, as you pointed out. Some of these ballots in some states can't even be opened until election day. And if there's thousands of ballots, it's going to take time to do it. And by the way, our military, they've been voting by ballots the end of the Civil War.
Civil War, yeah.
and that's what's going to happen. Why was it not? Why is it for
it's
them
not new.
somehow not fraudulent? It's the same process.
It's the exact same
no
process.
One has established
there is no difference.
There is fraud related to mail-in ballots. That somehow it's a fraudulent process.
He looks like he's taking a dump.
Take a look at Carolyn Maloney's race from the now.
You had an opportunity to respond.
They have no idea what
Vice President Biden, go ahead.
I'm actually very surprised he hasn't mentioned the Veritas thing. I think it's because they know it's too fake. Like, Veritas...
Once the winner is declared, all the ballots are counted.
He was tweeting about it yesterday.
That'll be the end of it. And if it's me, in fact, fine. If it's not me, I'll support the outcome. And I'll be a president not just
but yeah,
for
that's voter suppression.
Democrats. I'll be a president for Democrats and Republicans. And this guy,
I want to see an honest ballot count.
Gentlemen, you say that's the end of it? This is the end of this debate?
Honest ballot count.
We're going to leave it there. To be continued as in more debates as we go on. President Trump, Vice President Biden, it's been an interesting hour and a half. I want to thank you both for participating in the first of 3 debates that you have agreed to engage in. We want to thank Case Western Reserve University.
I think my brain's dying.
For hosting this event. The next debate, sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates, will be 1 week from tomorrow, October 7th, at the University of Utah.
Soon.
In Salt Lake City,
wow.
with 2 vice presidential nominees, Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris.
Dude, Pence and Harris.
Debate at 9 p.m.
I don't even want to watch it.
We hope you watch. Until then, thank you.
Watching that. Oh, dude, I'm watching that. Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm going to, and we're going to stream it, but...
I'm going to watch that one privately.
I'm going to watch that one privately. Jordan's got...
Wait, I want to see this afterwards thing. I want to see what they do.
I get off on watching Mike get humiliated.
What's Melania doing?
That's
she just said hello.
A very, like, slow, weird walk.
Hey.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Her just, like, silently moving to the stage. I love that. He rubbed her shoulder. He hugged her.
That was so weird, dude. Rubby.
Yes, oh, yeah, hey, buddy.
Power suit.
Hey, pal.
She's holding hands with him.
Oh, now she is, yeah.
Oh, but he pulled away to clap. Greg Spencer, all time!
We love you, Trump!
We love you, Trump! You're the fake Trump! I know you, Trump!
Trump, pull out that fat dick, I wanna suck it! Dude, that was wild.
Okay, gut responses, go.
I mean, Trump did what I thought Trump was gonna do. It was honestly almost exactly what I expected, except for Biden being more coherent than usual and being able to string most of his thoughts along. He lost a couple and then kind of caught them on the end, but like the majority of the time, like,
job. I mean, like comparatively, like
comparative to like his history, he did it admirable. Like,
what are the newest Fox News saying about it?
What?
Or Fox News stream. Let's listen to a Fox News stream.
Actually, that would be interesting. Hold on.
Can we watch it from yours?
I mean, for a second, we can't just like constantly stream it, but we can tune in to see what they're saying.
Oh, C-SPAN's giving me a news update. Give us your thoughts. Sorry, C-SPAN. Yeah, no, I think that was really interesting. I think Biden did a fantastic job. I think way better than I ever thought he could. Turned a lot of phrases, made a lot of really great points, a lot of great rebuttals. His timing was really good. He was
for him, yeah, it was.
No, it was like artistic. I really thought he did.
It wasn't artistic. I mean, they just.
I'm saying it, Jake. Let me say it.
It wasn't art.
He made pauses at right times. He dropped his head. He closed his eyes when he
said
or
I mean,
responded to certain things from Trump. Spontaneously.
If you go back and look at like old Joe debates, that's what it felt more like at the beginning.
I don't know, Jake. Honestly, funny you say that. So watching old Joe Biden like speeches.
Well, he was more like witty, and he had like.
I always think he sucks. No, that's the opposite. I always think he's lame, and I always think he's very political. I thought tonight.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, he was way better than usual.
Maybe I'm drunk and tipsy, but tonight, what he said.
No, Biden did great. I mean, he honestly did.
I'm usually pretty contrarian.
I mean, I hate Biden, but
before this
that was way better than I thought he was gonna be. And that whole 1350 dog whistle thing, that came out of nowhere.
That's what I'm saying. Well, so for me, whenever I hear that, I hear this weird perception of the reality of the internet, the voices, what's going on in the world right now that's relevant to what we believe to be real change in the system or whatever, like things that we believe would be real ideas that aren't really being talked about. He was signaling to us.
No, yeah, no, Trump. Trump kept just trying to rail on the Democratic establishment and Biden would kind of make a snide remark about how Trump did something bad, and then he would say, "Hey, American people, you need this. This is what I'm gonna do. Whatever."
Yeah, he always brought it back to the people, which is really fast. There's a lot of really fascinating moves that happen. I'm gonna watch this again and again and again because I think.
I mean, you don't have to. We're gonna do the exact same debate in a week. Trump is going to say literally the same things, and it's gonna be a nightmare that we're never gonna wake up from.
Wait, Griffin Young just said, "Give me the Lord of the Rings, fellas."
No, oh my God, you are an old fucking man. Will, someone just joined and said, "Give me the TLDR," and Will said, "Someone just said, give me the Lord of the Rings." It says too long. It means too long didn't read. So
no, hold on. I think my problem is I was small writing.
You just don't know what it is. It's fine.
No, I just small writing.
So the too long didn't read. It's essentially Trump did what Trump always does. He talked over Biden every time. He lied a ton. He was asked to disavow. He was asked to disavow white supremacists and specifically the Proud Boys. And all he said was, "Well, I'm not be on standby, guys." He didn't.
He said, "What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say?"
Just say that they're bad people.
Tell me a group.
Biden did exceptionally well on race. I think that's what's going to be talked about the most. I think he did really.
He did make a great point about race, but
about 1 out of every 500 black people are the people that are dying. When he talked about how, that Trump dog whistles to the right, that he constantly says things specifically to appeal to white nationalists and stuff. That was a really good point. Him bringing that up.
I know it's really interesting that he used the word dog whistle.
He said dog whistle followed by 1350. He called out a specific one.
I know, yeah, no, for sure. I think that's very fascinating. That level of whoever's writing, if Biden had these memorized or had these,
he had the world's smallest earpiece.
Well, no, I'm not saying it at earpiece. Yeah, they're gonna say that.
I know.
I think it's very fascinating the level, the consciousness that we're experiencing right now on the political. It's actually connecting to what we're talking about. People in our circle, people in our influential.
Well, it's by design. I mean, he's had
Sure, but I think
a lot of people around him. No, yeah, and it's how he's gonna rule. Rule. God damn it. That's how he would govern.
Freudian slap.
It's not even fraudulent. I believe our government's insane, but I think he's gonna have those kinds of people around him. The people that are saying those things in his ear, yeah.
But no, but I even see. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I think it's probably good. It's gonna have some very noticeable friction against it. I think the critical race theory thing, it's so isolated in the conversation.
Oh yeah, it's so dumb.
Race theory,
because he did it on purpose though, how he. But yeah, regardless. Well, no, Trump brought it up because he banned it a week ago. Well, critical race theory is so different than taking racial sensitivity training out of the government. Those two things are so far divorced.
Is heavily influenced.
No. Critical race theory is influenced by racial sensitivity training. The other thing came after. This thing started in the 60s. No. Critical theory came first. Critical race theory came after, and it wasn't popularized until the late 90s. And even then, it wasn't popular. Critical theory came from Marx. critical race theory came like very recently.
This is a theory conversation. But,
I know it's, and this is so
Marx
beside
is not
what
considered the first like critical theorist.
he was the first big critical theorist that got popular, and he's the one that most people cite when they talk about critical theory.
I'm not sure if I've heard the distinction between critical theorists and critical race theorists. I mostly hear about.
Well, because it's a subset. It's just how Marx talked about. Will. Critical theory is how Marx referred to the class differences and how those affect different people. Critical race theory is how race differences affect different people. That's the only thing. That, like, at its core, that's what it is. Like, in our society, how race affects different people. So
I think
that's like it.
The issue with critical. So I know.
No, I don't want to talk about critical race theory right now. Okay. I just think it was, it's a thing to bring up.
I think so that's the issue, is that sometimes every once in a while, I think 1 out of every 25.
No, but that's not what he was saying, and that's not what he did, and that's the point. Is that critical race theory is not what Trump got rid of, and critical race theory isn't what Trump's getting mad at. He's getting mad at racial sensitivity training, which is signaling to his white voters that everything that they say about being racially sensitive is an attack on them, and that he is helping. Like, no, this is what it is. This is the dog whistle. They are trying to diminish the white man, and I am bringing the white man back. That's what he's doing. It's not, like, veiled in anything, because... No.
I think what he's signaling...
No, he said you have to be afraid to be white or whatever. No, that's what he's signaling to. He's signaling to that. That crowd. That is who he is signaling to. No mistakes about this, and I will not... No, that's what he's doing.
Why did the people that voted for Obama vote for Trump? Whenever they voted for Trump,
they were disillusioned because Obama didn't do fucking anything for the average person.
Okay, so capture that disillusionment. That's who he's signaling.
No. The subset of them that are white nationalists. This isn't.
Because white nationalists are not winning Trump an election.
I mean, they kind of are. He's only winning in the flyover states.
No. There's not enough white.
There are in the flyover states. There are people that are racist in flyover states.
There are people online that are very racist and weird.
I know, but they are. Yes, but those kind of people that live in New York City are not winning him any electoral college votes. He's not talking to them.
I'm not talking about New York City. I'm talking about flyover cities where these white nationalists.
I know.
White nationalists are not winning Trump the election.
Yes, they are.
I believe that's true. No.
He won the election by 22,000 votes, in a couple of
the people around San Antonio and New Braunfels. There's a big sign coming in and out of San Antonio and New Braunfels in the hill country, the most conservative parts of San Antonio, because San Antonio is most conservative. There's a Trump says Trump equals jobs, Biden equals mobs. There's a weird
mobs. Who are the mobs? Black Lives Matter protesters. What are they protesting? Like, it is.
I promise.
It's all racist. It's racist. If there were white people protesting something, it would not be the same.
In 100 years, Jake, here's my prediction. Well, okay, hold on.
I don't give a shit about 100 years, Will.
No, but a prediction that we can relate to in real time. So I'm gonna put money on this. $100. I'm gonna give you $100. Accounting for inflation, so whatever $100 is.
Get on with it.
25 years, we're going to be in the exact same situation with different groups. Maybe even 35 or 45 years. But my point is that there will continue.
We've been in this same situation for hundreds of years with black people, Will. Specifically.
Not true.
Yes, true.
Well, no,
black people have been second-class citizens since the founding of our country and before that.
But
like,
the
this is a
political spectrum of their voice mattering as much as it has now, and their so what I would say to you,
and that doesn't even mean anything whenever the policies that are actually impact their lives, like over policing, like redlining, that still happens in a different way.
So many things right here. I'm not talking about.
I'm talking about the entirety of their experience in in America, Will.
But we were talking about. Okay.
I know, but that's so.
But hold on, we segmented off that conversation. From a bigger thing to a smaller thing to a smaller thing. I'm not trying to argue about race, like racism
I know.
in America.
I know you are not.
I'm not even sure what we're talking about this month.
So, because we're just talking about how Trump dog whistles and the whole getting rid of
but what I'm saying
sensitivity
is
training.
The dog whistle is broad enough to not be specifically.
Yeah, sensitivity training. He's saying that it's.
the good dog whistles are things that dog whistles.
Yeah, because he's saying something else than what it actually is, so he's lying, right?
So they're dog whistling to both white nationalists. They're also dog whistling with the voters that aren't.
That's not what a dog national. Yes, but they're dog whistling to racists.
That are not white nationalists.
You don't have to be a white nationalist to be a racist.
Okay, again, he's dog whistling broadly
to racists.
To racists, including but not excluding other people in his demographic that he's trying to get to vote for other reasons than the race.
Well, no, that was specifically for them.
I do believe
because they're afraid. Well, no. This is a deliberate misframing of what these people believe. It's a deliberate misframing of what racial sensitivity training is. It's a deliberate misframing of Black Lives Matter with that sign. Like it's deliberate and racist. Like. It is like that's just what it is. Like he would use different language. They would use different language with that sign. Like there's a point to it, the law and order and all that. Like it's like the way they say it and the way that they talk about the issues. Like if you notice, like this is something I really liked because Biden talked about like institutional racism and everything else. Like not all of it will, not all of it, but the way they defend these things is.
This is all about like.
Yes, I agree. To a bunch of racists, Will.
If you know anything about... Well, no. Not just to racists, because if you know anything about marketing, you're trying to catch the broadest people with the... I'm just saying, what they're doing is not just the racists, because legitimately people that make decisions based off of race in this country is so much lower than it used to be. Like significant.
Well, maybe you missed the racial insensitivity and implicit bias training, but it's a lot higher than that because
no, it's not higher.
It is.
One.
It is. Every single person, you, me, Jordan, every person that's ever watched our stream has some kind of implicit bias.
But so higher would imply that things are more unequal, which would not be true. Except for
implicit bias does not mean that things are less equal or more equal or whatever.
How do you quantify it other than just some? You just say it's higher. I mean, just like, bias is higher than ever.
I'm not saying it's higher than ever. That's not what I said.
Then I'm confused why I mentioned things not being higher than ever, because that's why I mentioned it, because I thought you said things were higher.
No.
Implicit bias was higher.
No. I just said it exists. And it exists in everyone.
Let's briefly touch on the... I want my people to go watch very carefully.
Dude, that scares the shit out of me. Like,
that, well, I didn't know it's gonna.
Well, it already happened.
Karen's walking around.
It's not Karen's. Karen's is not what I'm worried about. So at that Ohio place, in Ohio, like last week, but there were a bunch of Trump supporters that went to an early voting location and like stopped people from going in. Like this is already happening, and that's what he's signaling that he wants more of. Like.
Well, he's signaling to those people because he's like, I don't mind. I don't know if he wants
No, he wants it. No, it's the whole reason he's not funding the election. He's not funding the post office. That he's saying he's not going to accept election results. That he's been calling it into question the entire time. Like, he doesn't want that. He doesn't want a fair election. This is very clear. Like, he does not want a fair election. No amount of his rhetoric has hinted at even like the slightest. Even last time, if he would have lost, he would have tried to contest the results as well. He said the exact same shit last time. Like he just has more power this time. He has the ability to appoint a Supreme Court justice if the Senate Dems go along with it. Like he has way more power than last time. So his threats aren't empty. Like and.
I think, yeah.
No, I don't think. I think Biden was right that like, I
think he should get elected Supreme Court justice. The most controversial opinion I have right now. But I think Obama should have been able to.
Of course, Obama should have been able to, but Obama wasn't able to.
Obama was in the same exact position as he was right now. He should have been able to. I don't think the election argument is a sound argument.
Oh no! Fuck that! No, the Republicans.
I know you said fuck that.
The reason why that. Okay, so you know how. Okay, fine.
As opposed to what we shouldn't
do. Good words, Will. The reason why there were like 300 open judge positions. Do you want to know why that was? You want to know why they were able to pack the fucking courts and the Supreme Court? Yeah. It's because the Republicans blocked it. So now. Undemocratically, yes, it's not just not good. No, he doesn't, Brody. Like he.
No, you have.
He doesn't. He doesn't understand. No, fuck that. No, the Republicans, they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about your.
What did Brody say? What did Bro Jackson say in the YouTube group chat?
He said Trump isn't that smart. He doesn't understand the implication of many of the things he says. I mean, you're right. He doesn't understand the implication. No.
I think he's more of a puppet than most people think.
He doesn't understand the implication of many things that he says, but I do believe he says some things intentionally. Like
I think people tell him to say certain things for certain reasons.
And I think he picks a lot of it up because all of his like media that he consumes is white nationalists.
But so if he's all picking up, he's picking up. If he's just watching Fox News, I guess OAN.
Yeah, OAN, Tucker Carlson, like all these guys. Half of every fucking editorialist at Fox News is a white nationalist. They all talk about how bad the brown people are.
Yes.
I mean, you can have a hard time with it. That's fine. But like talking about how bad the Browns are, how they're stealing our how the Browns are stealing our culture, how they're stealing our jobs, how they're bad, they're all criminals, they're rapists, they're whatever. That's white nationalism. Like that is they want more whites. They want an ethno-state. That's what it is. Like that's what they're hearkening to. Like no.
But I just feel I think
because they're preying on fear.
I don't want to.
But this is where fascism. This is where fascism blooms. It preys on fear. It preys on fear of the other. It preys on fear of the minority taking you over. That is what it is.
The Democrats at their worst do prey on fears. I think.
Yeah. No, but there's a difference. What is that fear of?
Systematically go through the systematic.
Yeah, that's a real fear, Will. That's a real fear. That has real consequences.
No, all fear is noble to the person who is afraid of that thing.
Okay, I don't care about the intentionality of the person. I'm talking about the intentionality of the people that feed this shit to people.
I'm just pointing out the subjectivity of your point, your moral high ground.
No, it's not subjective moral high ground, Will. No.
What are they fearing versus what are they fearing?
Yeah, no. What they're yeah, I know, Will.
Acknowledge everyone's fear.
Yes, everyone is afraid. How their party uses that fear to prey on them is different. The Democratic Party has a fear.
If you use fear,
every single politician, no matter who you are, it's based on some kind of fear. Or it's based on some kind of fear that if they don't get there, it's going to get worse or whatever. That has been the case in every country in every election since the beginning of time. The difference being, Will, with the dumb fucking liberals, yeah, the fear is different. It's not the fear of the others. It's not the fear of the whatever. It's the fear of the actual fascist rhetoric that we saw take place on that stage. It's not like pretend fascist rhetoric. It is real. Yes, and the other fear is that the Browns are going to come take their culture. That the Mexicans are going to come and we're going to lose our white culture. We're all going to be speaking Spanish or all going to be speaking Chinese or whatever. Like it's xenophobia. It's not.
The only issue is that Tucker Carlson has never said the Browns are coming to take your culture.
Oh, excuse me.
Not verbatim.
Illegal immigrants. The illegal immigrants. It's dog whistling, Will. It doesn't matter. It does not matter.
It's dog whistling. No, here's why it matters.
The intentionality of it and how it's received, like it's not received.
Here's why I think it matters is because the people thinking that there's something okay about preserving culture really exists on many sides of the fence that multiple people would.
American culture is different in every fucking town. That's so dumb. There is no American culture. If you go to Florida and you go to like Michigan, the culture is so diametrically different.
I disagree with that a little bit. I know what you're saying, and I concede a little bit. But I think the opinion. I think if I was, I would be concerned about something or an institution or a body of political individuals infringing on a Muslim community's culture. I would be upset about that. I would be
okay.
I would be
well, pause. To that. What is infringing on? What's not something that'll be infringing on their culture?
Let's say that like someone passed some very conservative religious bill, or they oppressed them for being Muslim, or they wouldn't let them build a mosque in a certain town.
Now, how are they suppressing white culture?
No, I'm not making a white culture reference. What I'm making is that some people are saying culture. Some people are making.
I know, but my point is, it's not happening.
People are calling.
I know that's not happening. It's not happening. It's a fucking myth. Like the majority of the time, people when they come to our country, get into our culture. They mix a little bit of theirs in, but they become like they're Americanized. Like when people come here, like people learn the language based on the media. Like there are rappers that exist today that are popular, like Rich Brian or whatever. He learned English by listening to rap songs, and now he's an American. Like people
I'm not
don't
defend the culture. I'm just saying, like, really the idea of like people being concerned about.
I know, but that's a prey on the fear. It's a racist fear.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. It's not some benign fear. Like it is a fear that some other, which is what fascism is, by the way, some other is destroying us. It's not the ultra wealthy, which it is. It's no.
It's an intuitional idea that's unaware of the scale of things.
Because people know everybody knows things are bad.
Inherently, if you just broke it down, like if you had a city, people were breaking into your city and living there and weren't paying taxes, would you be upset about it?
But guess who's not paying taxes? It's the billionaires. Everybody that makes over $14,000 a year, even if you're illegal, you're paying more taxes than Trump. No, every single American that pays taxes is paying more taxes than the wealthy.
Yeah, like I'm just trying to understand. What we're doing right here is doing a practice exercise of trying to understand the mind of people.
No, I understand their mind, Will.
So
they're afraid.
Does not come up first in their mind. Right?
I know.
So, yes,
well, I know because they watch Fox News. Why? Because Fox News is a racist white nationalist channel. Why? Because they blame all the problems on the Browns. Why? Because they do.
I just think calling a white nationalist channel and like.
No, it's what it
like
is.
Dad, for instance, that like listen to it sometimes. Like,
okay, he watches a white nationalist channel. I don't care how he. No, I don't care. No. I'm not going to spend my time trying to make it seem cool or friendly.
No, not cool or friendly, but like, what if you could do it in a way that included more people?
I don't want to include the racists. I want to tell them, hey, that.
Is Dad racist? Is our father a racist?
I don't know. I don't think so. But
no, he's probably not.
Probably not, Will.
He is. Odds are he's
not.
No,
he's probably not.
We lose people like him when we call Fox News white nationalists because the trigger words in their brain.
No, Will, you're missing the entire point, Will. No, we don't need to play into the narrative. No,
it's not.
I'm not gonna. No, it is. It's what Fox News does. No, it's what Fox News does. So, no, not you. This is what Fox News does. So Fox News and conservative media, yeah, because what you're doing is giving them credence, right? It's what every single liberal channel on television does, is where they give them equal talking time, they give them credence, like that they come on their shows and their opinions are equal.
I want to talk about, I have to go. It's too late. I have to go.
I know, I have to go too.
What you're saying is,
like,
I disagree with.
You can disagree with that all you want, but like Republicans frame every conversation. No, Republicans frame every conversation in our country. The Democrats don't say what they actually believe because they're afraid that the Republicans aren't going to like it. That it's going to be too socialist. That it's going to be too this, too that.
More afraid of sharing their views. Republican voters, based on the polls.
Yes, because I wonder why. I wonder why. Because they're worried that their views are going to be called racist. Why?
It's just counter. Well, they're just afraid of like.
No, it's that. It's that.
Yeah, maybe so. Because the goalpost for what is racist has become wider. If I don't agree with immigration.
Yes, the goalpost is wider than it was during slavery as well. But like.
I'm skeptical about immigration. If I'm skeptical about immigration, I'm racist.
No,
yes, that's true.
Not if you're skeptical about immigration, Will. Not if you're skeptical.
Or a bunch of musicians, it's true. If I'm skeptical about immigration reform, that's absolutely true. Absolutely true.
Okay, if you're hanging around musicians and artists, maybe, but broadly in the American culture, if you say, well, I really like the Hispanic people and they're not destroying our country, but we should.
I don't know why polling is the way it is then. Because I believe that
everybody wants some sort of border control, but not everybody is afraid of brown people. Not everybody thinks it should be criminalized.
People are afraid of talking about abuse. Do you know who's not afraid of talking about abuse? People that are far
That's
left.
Such bullshit. Dude, there's hardly... Ben Shapiro, Tucker Carlson, all of these people, they have a platform, they speak to millions, they have the most popular channels.
Where do they work, Jake? Where do they work? Those corporate bullshit capitalists that they're not allowed to talk about things. What are you saying?
They're both funded by multi-billionaires. Don't give me that shit. This is what they want. Like, that's...
Wait, who are funded? Both?
So Rupert Murdoch and like whatever coal baron supports, or no, oil conglomerate that's the main funder for the Daily Wire, like.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, the people with actual power support the Republicans. The people that actually have the money support the Republicans. Why do they feel that way? Because they've been lied to for generations. They've been dog whistled to and lied to and gaslit for generations. It's the myth of the American dream. It's the myth.
It's more progressive than ever, and some people don't have.
Oh, it's definitely more progressive than ever, but it's not been because of the Republicans. They have come kicking and screaming.
Rhetoric is in an all-time unable to hear people. People talk over each other often. Most people talk over each other. And they get mad about it because they're having weird off interactions.
Yeah, because what we're talking about is different than what it has been in the past. Also, people used to just get shot all the time for this shit. They don't anymore. The rhetoric, you may not like it or whatever.
Online. No. Being less violent is one thing. There's reasons for that.
But that's like the actual thing. I don't care if people call each other dicks on Twitter more. The solutions are not found by looking to the right. That's my whole thing. Solutions are not found by looking to the right. They don't give a shit. Like,
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that we need, if you want to solve the problem, there's an equation.
No, we don't have to have the right to solve this problem. They're the minority in this country. And that's how they think of you. Like, the right thinks of you. They don't give a shit what you think. So, like, the Republicans in office, I'm not talking about like your friends.
I gotta go.
I'm not talking about like Republican voters, but like.
You need to consider the voters.
No. I'm talking about the Republicans in office.
No, there's a group of people out there that are Republicans. They're a whole population, a subset of people. They exist in several different categories.
Sure.
There's a population of people that believe fundamentally core different worldviews than you
I
do about
fundamentally believe if you're still voting for Trump, you're a racist a little bit. All right.